Yeah, we're having a good time already.
So there we go. We're all having fun. Welcome to everyone. We are live from the apocalypse. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be playing our other ongoing campaign aside from the Call of Cthulhu one you might have seen last Sunday. This is Nephilim. We are it's a gritty near future sci-fi setting campaign that I created, so it's an original work. Normally the money that we raise through this stream goes to Extra Life. That's why we have the tracker up there, which benefits children's hospitals. But given the recent events in Minnesota involving the murder of Dewante Wright at the hands of the police, we have decided to divert any of the charitable giving from this game to a completely different organization. This week we are benefiting Communities United Against Police Brutality, which is a local organization in Minneapolis and St. Paul that works to basically just provide support to the communities and end police brutality. So if you want to give, you can use the !donate link. That will call up the campaign page. Yeah, the bot should post it periodically throughout the game as well. Yeah, welcome. And we will probably go ahead and get started. How's everybody feeling today?
Doing good.
Doing good?
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Feeling good. Ready to make choices.
Make choices.
Feeling good, looking good.
We got gifts, so it's a good day. Yeah, oh, and that reminds me that we did add a bunch of channel point rewards, so if you want to use your drugs, if you want to spend your drugs, feel free to do so. They don't play noise, so they won't disrupt the game too much. And, we're all here to have a good time. So, on the last episode of Nephilim, when we left our protagonists, Jaxper and Karis had gotten into a spot of trouble with your bodyguard contract, while your benefactor, Rashawn Neville, was taking a meeting with the station administrator of the ring gate that you're on. Somebody tried to enter the room, and you all had to fight them off. And in the aftermath of that, you discovered a badge marked with the symbol of the Earth Coalition Party, and which revealed to you that this was in fact a party auditor, who are essentially the sort of secret agents, assassins, the catch-alls for dirty jobs for the Earth Coalition, which means that the scope of this is a little bit bigger than you were initially led to believe. So I think where we left things off was basically you had managed to knock this auditor unconscious, essentially. You did choose the non-lethal option, which is probably good. And yeah, he was a very difficult, very challenging opponent, very capable. And as Jaxper quickly learned over the course of the hand-to-hand combat, significantly augmented, which made it very difficult for you to win. And in fact, as they crumple to the ground unconscious and you look down at them right before the door slides open, revealing Rashawn, which is where we left it, you would notice the bone structures, the solid structures of their face sort of sag. And then the door opens. Rashawn Neville is standing on the other side, still very well dressed, still very put together and coiffed and everything. He looks down at the two of you and he says, Oh my.
So we're going back to the boat, and you're not getting off of it again. How's that?
Well, I would personally suggest, I would fain tell you how to do your job, but I would personally suggest that probably we should bring this fellow into Margot's office, and Margot behind him is like, but he's like, I think probably our best course of action would be to bring him into Margot's office and then discuss our options. It would not benefit us, I don't think, to have some random station personnel stumble across a party auditor lying unconscious in the hallway.
I shrug and try to start dragging him past Margot. into the office.
She looks unhappy about it, but she doesn't try to stop you. She basically just is like, she taps Neville on the shoulder, Rashawn on the shoulder, and says, "This was definitely not part of our arrangement." And he says, "Yes, life is funny that way sometimes.
Yeah.
We have to make adjustments."
So, yeah, we have to make adjustments.
Toss
You
him out an airlock and
recognize
we'll be fine.
No, what I'm saying is you hired a bodyguard contract, right? You know that, right? Not
Yes.
not a troubleshooting contract, right?
That's extra.
You want to renegotiate your contract, you're going to have to talk to Ellis and Maeve. Otherwise, this is on you, my dude. We're doing a job.
Yes, I understand.
I'm not interested in fucking around with whatever you've got going on with the party.
Well, the contract is already put in place. If you want to walk away from it, I suppose I can't stop you, but that would halt repairs on your vessel and leave you stranded here further.
Not saying I'm walking away. What I'm saying is, I'm here to make sure nobody stabs you. I'm not here to make sure that I clean up your mess. You want somebody to clean up your mess? That sounds like a different contract. So no, I'm not here to discuss our options, my dude. I'm here to make sure you don't get shot. So, in the interest of not getting you shot, we should go back to the ship.
As I've said many times already in the course of this day, Jaxper, I very much appreciate your expertise. However, I'm afraid
I can't protect you from stupid. And he'll step back and cross his arms and make bodyguard face.
Sure. Yeah. He looks down at the unconscious form and says, "I mean, that does unfortunately raise another question, an unfortunate fact, which is that I'm afraid you are already implicated in this matter, given your assault of this fellow."
Oh no, I will 100 sell you upstream.
Have you had many dealings with the party of the Earth Coalition, Jaxper? Because I have. And they are not likely to entertain the notions of anyone who assaults one of their auditors. I'm afraid to them, you and I are now associates.
We could always make sure that they find you and not us.
I'm not interested in making threats. I'm not interested in dancing around this, my guy. I don't think we have to fuck around with this. I'm here to be your bodyguard. I'm here to do a job. If you want to try to make that complicated, that sounds like a you problem. So
I personally, I am the one who is trying to keep this as simple as possible. In their eyes, we are now all one unit, one organization. If they come after me, they will be coming after you as well, and I'm trying to help you by informing you of this fact. And that is what I mean when I say we should take this opportunity to discuss our next move. Because if we stumble across more auditors, they will not hesitate, and they certainly will not listen to any claims that you are not involved, you are just following a contract, and are therefore not responsible for what took place here.
I think that this sounds like a conversation we should be having while we are getting as far away as possible from this knocked out auditor.
Theoretically, I agree. He looks over at Margot and says, "Margot, what are our options when it comes to disposing of this man?" And Margot looks a little appalled. She kind of turns sheet white and says, he's alive." And Rashawn just sort of shrugs and says, "Perhaps."
For now.
Margot, I think you could agree, you're hardly a doctor. And again, she just looks sort of appalled and says, I truly don't want any part of this. I suppose we could lock him up in a construction sector, something that's been cordoned off. He won't be discovered there for some time. I will not be a party to murder. And Neville nods, of course, in a very understanding way, claps his hands in front of his chest, and says, Margot, I would never ask you to participate in any murder that you are aware of. And she just shakes her head and says, look, the best I can do would be giving you access to a construction sector, but I am not doing that. You if you want to do that, you can have your muscle do it. You can do it. I don't care. I'll turn the sensors off. Whatever happens there, fine. But I have no knowledge of it, and our arrangement is ended from this point on. He nods and says, these terms are agreeable to me. He looks over at the two of you and says, well, we'd best make haste.
Let's go.
Right.
You're the boss.
Cool. Are you carrying the well, he stands there basically meaningfully waiting for one of you to pick up the body, or for both of you to pick up the body. And what do
Can
you
you
do?
get us a medical stretcher so it looks like we're carrying someone who's in need of assistance as opposed to disposing of a body?
Margot jumps on the opportunity to leave this situation. We just got a donation. Thank you, Jen.
I was
Gonna
nice.
need
I
to-
didn't wait for a super pivotal moment. I just went ahead and did it like half an hour in. See?
That is true. I'm gonna have
That's
to
favoring
adjust,
you.
I'm gonna have to adjust the volume on that alert. I'm sorry if it was as loud to you as it was to me. But yeah, so you take off. So Margot takes the opportunity to leave the situation entirely, and move on out of the room. Apparently, presumably in search of a stretcher, as you requested.
Can I look through his pockets?
Yeah, you can continue to search his pockets for sure. Let's see. What are you looking for?
Auditor access keys, maybe like a contract for Neville.
Okay.
Any sort of information I can get from him. Plus, I'm
Gotcha.
pocketing that sweet ass nano blade, so I have two unless Jack Spur
Oh.
wants the other. But we do have to talk
One
about what you saw.
Yeah, we do, but not in front of the client. Like, you would notice that Jax is like every so often just like eyeing you in a way. Like, Jax has always been awkward around you, but is now like looking at you like you are as dangerous as you actually are, which is not something you've noticed from him before.
Real quick, we also got another donation. Thank you, Eric Ziegler, very much for your generous donation. I appreciate that. Yes. So that is not a conversation you're interested in having in front of Neville, it sounds like. Tayo, I would like for you to roll Scope It Out, which is plus calculating. Rashawn, it just sort of is like, has his handheld out and is just like looking through some things. He appears very disaffected by this entire situation. Ooh, that's a 10.
10.
Very nice. So let's see here. Scope it out. You get to ask 3 questions. So I think probably what this is going to come down to is you're going through basically this guy's phone. Like his little handheld data pad that you found on him. It is very protected and very locked down, but you got a 10. So I'm going to say that you were able to bypass some of the systems that were protected.
If I need to, I could also hack into it.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of information you were trying to get your hands on. If you want to go like super deep into it, like I would probably want you to roll hacking if you were trying to get like super sensitive Earth Coalition data or something like that. But if you're just trying to find out about this person's identity and like the contract that's out on Neville, I think that's within the scope of what you can do. Probably you're basically just going through this guy's email as opposed to trying to access the master system that this leads back to.
So can I ask, what here could be a useful opportunity, and what should I be on the lookout for?
Sure. In the what a useful opportunity for who, right? Are you Karis looking for a useful opportunity, or are you trying to find a useful opportunity for the group that is performing this contract? Okay, cool. A useful opportunity for in this situation. Let me think about that. You are trying to
like better evade the auditors.
So okay, all right, yeah, very cool. That's totally reasonable, and I think that's pretty easy. You do find a like a mission file, right? Buried in some of these subfolders that details the assignment, and so you do also have access to the dossiers of your fellow auditors that are currently on the station. Now there are 5, including this guy, that were dispatched to retrieve Rashawn Neville. They use the language of the Earth Coalition Party, which is that his membership is being audited. And essentially what that means, is that he is slated for assassination. Right, yeah. They're going to revoke his membership. That's party language. So yeah, that there are 5 of them that have been dispatched on this, and they're basically here to kill Rashawn Neville. You do find some information on them, like what their codename designations are, because they do all use codenames when they're out in the field. But you would also be aware. You might be aware of this actually from your secret backstory. That one of the main sort of tricks of the trade of being a party auditor is their faces, their facial structures are replaced with sort of like pistons and other moving parts that allow them to change not necessarily like their whole face, but like bone structure and things like that in very dramatic ways. Like everything else that they can change about their appearance, fairly cosmetic. You can cut your hair, you can put on makeup, you can achieve crazy things with like a disguise kit, but this allows them to change their bone structure entirely. So the situation that you are faced with is like they could be anyone on the ship, or on the ring station rather.
Cool. Can I using my secret backstory stuff, my nanites.
Yeah.
What I want to do is essentially almost like a medical scan to try to see if there are any tells that the nanites can tweak to. Like, is there a power source that I can locate and identify on this guy that controlling the moving parts in his face?
I see.
That I could potentially identify later.
Okay. I think probably. Do you want to say, just in the interest of time, because Kara still has 2 holds
Oh,
for
yes.
scope it out. So do you guys just want to maybe share that role essentially? How would you feel
Okay.
about that?
That works for me. Karis, do you have any other questions that you specifically want to look for?
Mhm. Well, you kind of just answered who here is not what they seem. How could I best end this quickly? Well, I suppose the answer is just turning Neville in.
Well, that's one answer. I mean, another answer would be just, like you could follow the assignment as given to you. Like the contract was basically just get him to the ship and get him off world. Although there are repairs that are still taking place on the Nephilim. Like remember, only a few hours have passed since work began on repairing the Nephilim, so you still have some time to account for before any of that is resolved.
Okay, so I have an idea, and
Okay.
I'm gonna run this by Jaxper. What if we took everything in his pockets as leverage, and I cover Neville with my tactical cloak that I don't have, so that nobody can find him?
I'm with you on taking all his stuff. I don't know if it's going to be all that useful as leverage if these people are as big and bad as Corrosive here seems to indicate.
I meant so Neville doesn't just skip out with my cloak that I don't have.
I like it.
Cool.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
I hold my hand out to Neville and tell him to empty his pockets. I want everything in your pockets. You want us to keep you alive? Give me everything you got.
For what purpose?
I am going to hide you, and I need to make sure that you don't skip out.
We have a contract in place. I don't know what you expect that I'm going to do. I've already begun the process of paying your way, and I need passage to Mars. That was the nature of our agreement.
Yeah.
Fair.
They sent 5 guys after you.
I mean, while flattering, I promise you it is overkill.
Okay. Can I just cloak him then?
Yeah, I mean, you could, like, are you just gonna throw the cloak around him, or because that is something that has to be discharged once it has been activated. It will be unusable until you get the chance to recharge it, essentially. But let me just double check on tactical cloaks, because
I don't know if it's like full like invisibility or not. I'm not sure how it works.
I think it gives you advantage on stealth checks, probably, if I had to guess. But let me find the equipment section of the book here. That's equipment. Yeah. Okay, cool. Backsuit, scanner, tactical pack, tactical cloak. There it is. Suit that provides optical camouflage through advanced technology. When you activate it to try to escape notice, discharge it and roll Act Quick at advantage to lose your pursuers or move a short distance undetected. So the thought behind the tactical cloak is that it has a little it has a time limit, essentially. It's not infinite. So it's really meant for short bursts of concealing yourself. It's very good to have in a pinch, and I'm imagining it, although it's up to you to define how it looks. But the way that they describe it in the book is that it's actually a suit. It's not a literal cloak, like in Harry Potter. But I mean, you can put the cloak. You can like give him the suit and be like, put this on in case you need it. Or
so
you
can I given my nanite technology, like the same way I manifest my nanoblade with my nanites, can I like touch him and like Iron Man manifest the suit on him?
Do you want him to see all that?
Right. I mean, the problem there would be that like he would
No,
absolutely know
right.
about your nanites at that point.
Okay, well we'll say that for a pinch, like if we're super being followed and we absolutely have to do it.
And I mean, we can just say it is a physical suit if you want that you give to him, and you're like, put this on, and that way he will. That way he'll have that option if it comes up. But yeah, it's up to you.
Okay.
It could also make sense that it is a physical object activated by your nanites, that it can only be turned on and off by your nanite key.
Okay.
That is true. That is true. Generally speaking, with stuff like with gear like that, NPCs in this game don't really roll ever, right? It's mostly just me telling you what happens to them. So something that would give him advantage on like acting quickly or rolling act quick, it's not going to help him out that much in practice because he's never going to have to roll that. It would probably be more useful just to say that like it's a suit that you are wearing, and if you need to like use it, you have it on you to use, right? And we could even play fast and loose with that and say that like if you grab him and activate it, then it also is making him invisible or something like that. But that's just for an emergency situation.
Copy. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get TF out of here.
Yeah, I think right around that point, as you're finishing up sort of investigating things and finding out information. By the way, Della, you were using the last hold from that scope it out roll to try to identify any sort of telltale sign about this guy's status as an auditor.
Basically, what should I be on the lookout for?
Sure. Yeah, so the way that you would know that in general augmentations work is they are powered by your body's own, like bioelectric field. And so then you would know that people with more augmentations, it's far easier to detect them in a certain, like with a certain sensor setup, which your nanites can, mimic pretty easily.
All right, I'm gonna tell the nanites to put that particular filter up in my vision, and
yeah. Augmentations are not super uncommon in this world, but heavily augmented people, it's usually a sign of status, or like you've got like a backer or something like that. So people wandering around on a random ring gate in the middle of nowhere that are super augmented, that's definitely going to be a warning sign.
Does that mean I'm lit like a Christmas tree?
No, well, no, because you're not actually augmented. You just have nanites.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Neville?
How's Neville look?
When you are looking for augmentations, Neville does have an augmentation in his left forearm, but not anything else really.
All right.
Yep. Cool. So at that point, Margot comes back carrying like a medical stretcher and basically just tosses it at you, Jaxper, and then is like kind of just like throws her hands out and is like, "That's it. I'm out. Good luck."
Chuck this body in the stretcher, tie him down, and we're gonna get moving.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. You load the auditor onto the stretcher and you pick it up. The two of you pick it up between yourselves and you follow Neville. Margot like sends him a data packet from her desk console to his handheld, and he looks down at it and looks back up at her and says, "Margot, thank you so much for all of your help. I can't say how much it means to me. I won't forget you." And she says, please try. But yeah, he starts leading you through the ring gate station, but looking at his handheld to find the construction sector that she was referring to, and he stops at a door that is it has a the view screen above it, just as sort of cycling the message in bright red letters, construction zone, do not enter, off limits, construction zone, do not enter, off limits, that kind of thing. And holding up his handheld still, Neville reaches out to the panel on the side, punches in a code, and it slides open. And beyond, there is atmosphere in this sector, but it is clearly, like the sign indicated, under construction. It's in various states of repair, and they're clearly adding something onto this, but you don't know what it is. It's not far enough along. But yeah, he steps in, and after you follow him in, the door slides shut behind the two of you, and he says, well, dump him wherever, I suppose, but preferably somewhere out of sight.
Can we find like a panel to stuff him in, like a locker?
Yeah, you can. You can definitely find a locker. It's probably like not a permanent fixture in here, but it is sort of like a tool cabinet that they've been moving in while they've been doing construction, and you can absolutely just sort of shove him in that.
Are you bullying an unconscious man?
Yes.
Yes.
His personnel file did let you know that he is a nerd.
Yeah, are you gonna shake
so-
him down for his lunch money first?
I already went through his pockets.
Draw on his face a little bit.
It's not off the table.
He passed
Can I
out with his.
space-
He did
I'm gonna
pass out with
space
his shoes
Venmo
on.
myself from his handheld.
Pass
Stealing
out is a
phone-
very
if we
generous
steal his
term.
phone, it'll be fine as long as we steal his phone. This
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah.
I
I'm also not
refuse to make
handling
that.
him gently at all. I'm just like shoving him around, and yeah, I'm not being
For sure.
careful with him at all.
For sure.
I'm sure his airway's going to be fine. He's going to do great.
Oh yeah, the fact that there's minimal atmosphere in here is going to be good for him. I
He
don't
was knocked
care.
unconscious, which, as we all know from Pulp Fiction movies, that it's totally fine.
Well,
Oh, it's so good for you. It's so good for you.
Maltese
poke air
Falcon says you
holes.
can be knocked out like
Fuck.
4 times and you're fine.
We'll just give him little air holes. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
And a stick, like he's used to.
Yeah.
I mean, the grim reality of the situation is that like this guy's a party auditor, and he saw your faces, and he fought you. So
Yeah.
like, while you don't want to murder him, which I fully respect and understand, and Neville is like trying to humor that because he has picked up on that about you, that you're like not down to just straight up murder someone.
Karis is.
Well,
Y'all are making a lot of very not Ellis decisions, also. I'll
yeah,
note.
yeah.
I think, if
Karis
we're
is
being
just
honest, Maeve is the only person on this ship who genuinely would balk at the idea of murder. Like, I'm just
Jax
gonna.
is balking at the idea of murder. Jax
Yeah.
is like, no, don't kill him.
But
Jax is not down.
I guess now that we're in this
The nanites
secluded
down.
area, yeah, like this dude's gonna come after us. So what are we gonna do about that, Jaxper?
Well, Karis might pick up on the fact that Neville is sort of creating a situation here where this guy is not necessarily likely to survive, regardless.
Okay.
Like the situation that you are putting this man in, as has been pointed out over the conversation of the last 5 minutes, is not really conducive to him like getting up and walking away at the end of it. But it's also not just putting a bullet in his head.
Look, what this guy is doing is textbook, right? He's backing us into a corner so that he doesn't ever have to make a contract with us again. He can just say, I know what you did. Just like what he did with Margot. He's putting us in the same fucking position.
Then
I've read the textbook on this. He's doing it to us. I'm watching him do this to us. We kill this man. We go into a little more debt with him. And I want this man out of our lives.
unless we space him.
Yeah, real quick question. Are you having this conversation in front of Neville, or are you trying to have an aside a little bit away from
This
him?
is an aside.
Okay,
This is an
that's
aside.
totally fine.
And I'm mostly speaking up. I'm saying this not in whisper voices because the microphone on my computer is shit.
Right.
Not because
Okay. All right.
Jax would be having this out loud.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I would imagine Karis knows how this works too. given his secret backstory. So I am of the mind frame of once we get what we want, if we really, really have to, we just toss him in an airlock. I'm really all about the airlock idea.
Not against it. Not against it. But
Right,
let's
but
just get.
let's
let's
get what
just-
we want first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just shoving this
We are
guy in a
much happier.
locker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. You shove this guy in a locker. You shut the door, lock it behind him, and you turn around, and Neville sort of claps his hands together and says, "Now, great. Now that that's dealt with, on to the next order of business. If we could go collect my personal effects before we begin moving into your ship, that would be excellent."
Make it quick.
Of course. Yep. So, pending any other conversation you want to have with Rashawn Neville, he is going to, peek his head out into the passageways just to make sure that there's nobody in view as you all leave the construction area behind, and he waves you forward and then starts sauntering out of the personnel area that you were in and into the more public part of the ring gate, which would include that like sort of food court where you guys ate earlier, and the various other stores and things like that exist on this ring gate, all of which are automated for the most part. You do pass once you leave the personnel area. You start seeing more regular people, more people who are just sort of passing through, stopping on their journey because they're exhausted, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, you are keeping an eye out, Jaxper, but in general, you see some augmentations here or there, but you don't really see anything too overwhelming, the way you did on the one guy. He leads you out of that sort of cafeteria area and back into where into sort of where the ships dock on one side of the ring gate. So you're actually basically going back the way you came, and you're going to pass by the Nephilim on your way to the quarters. I don't know if you want to try to convince him to stop for a second, or if you want to try to have a conversation with Maeve and Ellis, or what, but you are going to be passing the Nephilim. Oh, you're muted, Della.
I might actually draft a message to Maeve and Ellis as we're going by, like local only, like using my nanites, like sending like a direct message over to their handhelds, and basically say, so this happened.
Right.
So, I don't know that we've detailed the technical specifics of how those handhelds and our intercommunications work, but
Yeah, we
I
just
assume
texting each other.
yeah,
It
I
is
assume that's like a text
essentially-
message.
yeah.
But they're like cell phones too, right? Like I can make a call,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Alice is calling.
But
Yeah.
this, but this
Alice
is also
calling. Like immediately upon ringing that, push
Yeah,
the
I
call
don't think
button.
Maeve.
Yeah.
I don't think Maeve even has read it yet because she's too busy overseeing, getting underfoot the people who are supposed to be fixing the Nephilim, and she keeps interjecting herself and being like, "No, what are you doing? Look, just give me the wrench. Let me handle this. You're doing it wrong." And so she's not even paying attention.
Walk away.
Look, you'll still get paid. Just hand me the tool and let me do it myself.
You care about your union rules? Get out of my ship.
So just like Bluetooth, just like modern day Bluetooth, the call can
Yeah.
absolutely route into your trans unit, which
But
is
they have to pick up.
Right, exactly. It's the device that all of you have in your ear. It breaks down language barriers, basically a universal instant translator. So you don't even all necessarily speak the same language, but yeah, are you just specifically trying to contact Jaxper?
Yeah, I'm calling Jaxper. Sent the message. I'm calling Jaxper.
You get a little pinging, in your trans unit.
Yeah.
So y'all fought a auditor?
Yep.
I'm sorry. I just need to clarify for specific. You all fought an agent of the Earth Federation on deck, and there's more of them here, and now y'all are going to his quarters.
Yep.
So were we trying to get him killed before we left? Was that the plan? I don't remember clarifying that part of the plan where we tried to get him murdered by auditors. Because you know they're going to be there, right? Like, that's the place they're going to be staking out.
He already signed. He already signed for the repairs for the ship.
Paying
He
everything.
signed for the repairs for the ship. He wants to get himself shot in his quarters, and I'm saying that out loud.
Yeah.
Right.
He wants to
Yeah.
get himself shot in his quarters because that's obviously the place where they're going to be. You can't guard people against stupid.
Jackson, there's a good chance that you and he also get shot. You know they're not going to pick targets, right? Like,
If I get shot, then I'm clearly not very good bodyguard.
God damn it. But everyone back to the ship, please. For me, as a favor, could everyone just not go to their untimely death today?
Hey, I'm being told, sir, I'm being told by my supervisor that we need to go back to the Nephilim.
By your supervisor. I see.
Yeah.
Well,
And then, like, he hears, like, my voice, like,
right.
Fucking hell, what the fuck?
But no, I mean he says what I just put in chat. I just didn't want to interject, but he basically says, "Well, I understand and I appreciate your professionalism as always. However, part of the arrangement that I made clear from the beginning was that I could not leave the ring gate without my personal effects, and I will require those. I do have full confidence in your abilities to protect me from any threats."
Very cool. Very cool. You have money. Hire a runner to get your stuff and bring it back.
I'm afraid there is no one on this ring gate that I trust with that task. I appreciate you,
Well,
Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow, I want to be clear. I don't mean to be difficult. The nature of some of the things that I have with me is sensitive and valuable.
Hey, I'm just telling you what my boss is telling me. I am merely a relay.
I suppose.
I'm not going to say all of the things that Ellis says over the radio, as none of them are appropriate in any way.
Jack Sparrow, you could just mute it if you want.
Yeah, like I assume that you just eventually
I think Jaxper is just kind of enjoying hearing Ellis go off on someone who's not him.
furiously scream into your ear about how stupid this is and how fucking, my God, he's gonna die.
Were you gonna say something, Karis?
I suppose nobody knows what we look like until he wakes back up and reports back, so we best do this now.
They know what he looks like.
Oh,
They're hunting him.
Standing here's not making it better.
Fine, go.
Jaxper, you got any more of that blue makeup for him? Jax?
While they figure out how to not get shot by 4 people prepared for them to enter an apartment, Ellis is going to load himself and like arm himself actively. Like, okay. I'm on my own ship, but also, guess I'm carrying a shotgun now. And go over to Maeve and be like,
What's going on?
And like hand her.
What if we just draw a mustache?
And I'm like, put it on. Just put it the fuck on. Just fucking kid. Don't fucking argue. Just put it on.
Look, Ellis, I know you've technically taught me to shoot one of these, but I think we both remember how that went. Shoot it
again today. Listen, I don't care. It's gonna make a lot of noise. Put the goddamn gun on. And then like I walk over to the main door and I'm just like, okay, guess I'm.
Are you doing that in front of the like union mechanics, by the way?
100%. Like, he's like long barrel shotgun like loaded at the front door. Like, y'all keep working.
Do y'all have like an extra coat or cowboy duster for him to hide under?
He's definitely got his own cowboy duster.
Well, yeah, but okay.
Well, you
All
guys
right,
didn't come back.
let's
to
go
the
get your
ship. You're,
stuff,
like,
Neville.
walking by. Yeah.
Right.
I
So
feel
this
like
is all-
Ellis has enough dusters for every day of the week.
Yeah. Well, there's 7, and they're all identical.
No, I can't wear that. That's my formal duster, and this is a business casual
Excuse me,
experience.
that's a Thursday duster. All
He
right.
has several,
That's
and
an
they're all
ash gray
still
brown.
really dirty.
Tuesday is a medium gray brown kind of a day.
You should see his Sunday duster.
That's right. That's the one
The
that's got
Sunday
the
duster is
crossing.
the only clean one.
That's the one with the rhinestones.
Okay. It's got fringe. Anyway. Yeah, go on to your fucking untimely death. Enjoy.
Well, so this is all happening while Jaxper and Karis are accompanying Rashawn to his quarters. Yeah, I imagine you kind of pass Maeve the gun. Well, first of all, we established where your secret weapons compartment is, and so you're just raiding that, I assume, and starting to break it all out.
I assume that there are secret weapons in that compartment. These are like just Alice's guns. Like, he's not the kind of guy who would have like kept these hidden in a secret compartment or whatever. Like in his cabin, he has his shotgun and whatever.
Gotcha.
So
am I
I don't know if
misremembering
this
that
is-
guns are like kind of illegal in this?
Yeah.
Future?
Off your
Okay.
ship. Off your ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off the ship. Okay. Okay.
on this ring gate, yeah. But we're on the ship for one thing, and like, so I don't know if this is mechanically like my pistol or if it's Maeve's pistol that I've gone and gotten, but whatever it is, I have given her a pistol and she's not wearing it.
I think it's a pistol that Ellis decided was Maeve's,
Yeah,
and every
that's
time he
100%.
tries to give it to her, she's like, "How about you just hold on to it for me until I need it?"
Exactly.
Because she does not want.
And this is not when you need it. Put it the fuck on.
Right. It was a
I
present.
don't tell her anything else, by the way. Like, if she
Right.
wants to read the messages, that's fine. This is literally just, in case shooting starts, you need to have this on me.
When you come in with the gun and you pass it to Maeve and you're like, you just need to have this with you and be ready. The kind of stocky guy, the head of the crew that's working on the ship, like kind of sees this, but in a very like professional way, is looking anywhere else but at this, but like very like surreptitiously pulls out like the data pad that he's been putting the work forms, like he's been tracking the works on, and just like adds like a hazard pay line. Leaves it blank for now, but it's just like just gonna get ahead of this.
I respect it.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, you know what? I can work with this guy.
I'm into
fair.
that.
Yeah. I also would have respected if he himself had like pulled out a taser and like okay.
I mean,
oversight.
yeah. No, not on a ring gate probably, but he's clearly a pretty cool character. But yeah, so Jax and Karis, you are walking on with Rashawn, kind of just flanking him, I imagine. There is a sort of a hotel off of the like a hotel, basically kind of like one of those very like Japanese tourist hotels where you basically just like get a hole in the wall. That's like a bed. It's like honeycombed into a section of the ring gate. And he stops in front of one of them and presses the they're a little bit bigger than like than like just the bed areas, but yeah, it's a very small room, little more than a closet, and he stops in front of it and waits. Basically, he kind of like looks back at the two of you meaningfully.
Yeah, I guess we're going first.
Wow. that would be the professional thing to do.
The
Right,
professional
fine.
thing to do is not fucking go.
I like how the longer this guy like is hanging out with us, the more he realizes we have no idea what we're doing as far as bodyguards, and he's just rolling with it with his passive aggressive comments, just like, yes, of course, you know.
Two
No.
is definitely enough to do this, right? Yeah, sure. Okay.
No, Jaxper does know what he's doing, but at this point he no longer cares. And he's very much half-assing.
Yeah, I do want to be clear too that like in all of that swearing, Ellis was mostly mad about the concept of Jaxper and like of our crew not getting back to the ship. I don't give a shit about that.
So yes, I'm going to I guess it's a scope it out to make sure there's nobody else on the other side of the door.
Yeah, I would say so. Let me double check on that.
Roll.
But yeah, I probably will. But let me just take a quick look. Yeah, I think that would be scope it out, and you're sort of using the nano filters.
Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll calculating.
Okie dokie. Meh. Cool. That's a 5.
Mark potential.
I do love marking potential.
Who doesn't? Great. Okay, cool. So you everything seems fine as far as you can tell.
All right, I'm gonna open the door and walk on in.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah.
You walk on into the room and it is pretty like I said, it's very small. There's basically like a cot that extends automatically out from the wall. There isn't like a desk or anything like that in here. There's like a shelf that also extends out from the wall. Basically, this is a cell where there are various things that can extend outward from the wall, like a bed, like a shelf, like a view screen for entertainment purposes, things like that. But when you first walk in, there's pretty much nothing. You don't actually get any access to a bed, shelf, or entertainment system until you pay. And yeah. So you sort of walk into this. It's still set up. There is a shelf. There is like a bag set upon it, just like a pretty common looking satchel. A mattress that, like I said, has extended out from the wall, and the view screen, but it is empty as far as you can tell. He goes to one section of the wall, disregarding the satchel that's on the shelf. Goes to one section of the wall and lays his hand on it. And you can see under the wall itself, a light scans up and down across his palm print, and then asks for another layer of security, which is a code that he punches in. And a section of the wall that he put his hand over slides back. Clearly, this is a safe of some kind. That is also a service that's offered here. And he reaches in and pulls out a completely different bag. This one much nicer and more secure looking. Like, it's much more of a briefcase that has its own locking mechanisms built into it. So not really a bag at all. I shouldn't have used that word. But he does reach in and pull out basically a briefcase. Yeah. At that point, I would like both of you to roll to keep your cool. Actually,
do I add anything to that?
Hold on 1 second. I actually want you both to act quick, not keep your cool.
I really wish I could have kept my cool instead of acting
which is
quick.
Plus slick.
I'm gonna do a whole bunch of potential marking today.
Ooh.
Good
Oh
old
shit!
6.
You got a 6, so you can mark a potential, Karis. Jack Sparrow, you got an 8, so I think you have to pick one, but you do succeed technically. You do it, but you have to choose one. You're off balanced or rushed, you have disadvantage, you left something behind, and I will tell you what, or you're pushed to your limits with the effort and you suffer 1 stress.
One stress for me?
No, you don't take stress. You get to mark a potential.
Oh.
I think I will. I'm trying to decide between taking the stress and leaving something behind. I feel like we're tied into this plot pretty hard, though, so I'm going to go ahead and take the stress.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you take the stress, and I think what that's going to represent is your nanites start going fucking crazy. Like you're maybe one of the downsides of your particular generation of nano people as you were created is just that when you find yourself in an extremely dangerous situation, sometimes the nanites almost glitch you out with the sheer amount of information that they are sending to you. So
Okay.
you have a second, I think, of just like your whole, like your vision just goes white and your whole body, like every muscle in your body at the same time just goes like rigid. And literally everything is danger. But you do get to, you kind of move automatically. The nanites almost kind of take over in this circumstance. And you can get out of the room, which will put you in a more advantageous position for what's about to go down, which I will describe. But is there a cool way you want to get out of the room, or is it just a very functional, like you just sort of sprint? Do you backflip out of the room? Do you?
Oh, I think what Karis would see is you see suddenly Jax lock up. Like Jax just like totally locks up. And if your nanites have ever like had an issue, you might actually kind of have known what this feels like. Like you're looking at this like, oh, I think this looks familiar to me. I've felt this before. And then like I think it's like a total just dodge, like almost animal, like leaping out of the room. Before whatever happens.
Okay, all right.
And he might try to grab you, but not succeed.
Yeah. I think to Karis, the way that this looks is essentially you're just standing here, nothing is happening, and then Jaxper locks up and just like bolts out of the room. And right as Jaxper gets out into the hallway, the door across the hall from Neville's slides open, and there are two men standing there with rifles in their hands that they raise and just open fire into a murder hole of the room beyond. So Jaxper, you are out of the line of fire for this, but for Karis, you have Neville to worry about. But there is you are going to take some harm just from that failed roll, essentially. Give me a second to get back to that. Did I close? This was stupid of me. Sorry, I closed a thing that I needed to not close. There we go. Here, yep, there we go. Okay, you're gonna take 2 harm.
Big ouch.
Yeah. You can try to you can spend stress to not take that, remember. But you can take 2 stress to try to negate that if you want to.
All right.
Or you can take 2 harm. Did you have harm left over from last time?
Yeah, I was at just a scratch, and I had 1 stress.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm gonna just take 2 stress from that.
Okay. All right.
If that's cool.
Yeah, you can mark 2 stress. So you that brings you up to 3 stress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am
cool.
Moderately stressed out.
Okay. You are pretty stressed. But you don't take that harm. Do you want to try to protect Neville, or are you just going to let him get shot?
I am going to shove him up against the wall and discharge my shotgun.
Well, okay, so yeah, here's the thing. Without another move in place to better represent this, I think what you're going to be doing for this is actually acting quick again.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm gonna make you roll act quick to try to protect Neville.
Oh, come on. I'm supposed to be good at this.
Did you get another? Did you get to mark another stress or another potential?
I'm at 5 potential now because
That's-
I kept rolling poorly.
Well, you get to advance, so you can up one of your ratings by 1 if you want to, or you can take.
Does
a
that
new
happen
move.
immediately?
I mean,
this system?
it's pretty fast and loose, but like we might not have it go into effect right now, but just so you're aware, you can raise a rating or you can take a new move. But you don't have to stress about that at the moment because you have bigger things to worry about. Neville's going to get shot. Neville is going to go down with a grunt of pain as Karis tries to push him out of the way. He basically just drops to the floor. And you kind of get the impression that he was doing that anyway. Like he was trying to do that to be defensive. Anyway, excuse me. But he gets hit as he does so. And you could use him as a shield. But yeah, he's on the ground now. You took stress to avoid the bullets, and I think that's probably what stopped you from being able to effectively protect him, rather. So yeah, Jaxper, you made it out into the hallway. It doesn't seem like these two auditors, presumably, know you're there. Because you moved like before they did. Like you weren't in the line of fire. I think you like got out and then like ducked left. You're muted again.
I think I'm basically being driven by the nanites right now. I don't think this is
Okay.
Jaxper acting at this point.
Okay.
I think it's the nanites acting at this point. And what they're going to do is I'm going to attempt to alpha strike these motherfuckers and take their weapons away.
Okay. Love that for you. So yeah, roll alpha strike, which is plus calculating.
Yes.
2 scene questions, just for like clarification. Are the doors in this place sliding doors, or are they like hatch pressure doors?
Sliding in this case.
Okay.
Yep.
And then like, is this, given they're shooting off a bunch of guns, is this loud enough for us to hear from the ship? That seems unlikely. It seems like it would be pretty far away from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's loud enough for you to hear from the ship, but it is definitely
But it is loud.
enough.
People
Yeah.
are.
And I'm gonna say that these weapons are suppressed. I'm just gonna go because they
So
are
they're not
assault
destroying
rifles.
eardrums.
Right,
but,
exactly. But it's still definitely making noise. These are assault rifles, so I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a bad science for that one. But it is the future, and there are suppressed big loud guns in this future.
You can technically do it. It
Yeah, I
just
know you
wouldn't last very long.
right. Yeah.
I'm scared of the
So
ricochet.
that was a 5,
It was a 5.
which is a fail technically.
So that was technically a 5. So you get to tell me whether or not it works, because you could take hard move. You can just stack up hard moves on me if you really want.
I could do that.
So let me know if it's gonna work or what we're doing here.
Yeah. I mean, give me 1 second here.
I mean, I do get a new move. I could do something really silly.
You could, but let's put that on the back burner just because like it stuff like that doesn't necessarily go off right away. But let me see here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what Jaxper is trying to do is basically roll up underneath them and take away their guns and then take away their knees. And
Right.
I'm going to like do another like disabling strike.
Right.
I think it's entirely possible that if it fails, it's because the nanites are driving, but then Jaxper comes back online.
Okay.
And there is kind of a clash of who's driving right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're both kind of competing for the wheel, and like
Okay.
my system glitches.
Cool. I think that makes total sense. You are just using your bare hands, right? You are not armed with anything at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not armed with anything. I'm just.
Okay.
I would become armed with something.
You would, but the unfortunate thing about that is that 5.
Yeah, that.
So I think what happens is their reflexes are their augmented reflexes are more than a match for your nanites, unfortunately. So you kind of jump out in front of them and they are armed, and one of them just almost immediately, superhumanly, pivots and kicks you right in the chest as you swing around the corner, knocking you down. Actually, maybe not knocking you down, but sliding you back like a foot or two. And I'm gonna give you disadvantage going forward. Not ongoing, but going forward, just because you were still having that clash with your nanites, and now you have taken that hit. Karis, what are you doing while the bullets are still firing? At least one of them has stopped because this person just kicked Jaxper in the chest. But what are you doing with Rashawn, who's like on the ground trying to catch his breath? He's clearly winded.
I don't remember you describing there being like a table I could knock over and hide him behind or something.
No, all the furniture here is like, it's not even bolted into the wall, it extends outward from the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, like Fifth Element style, right?
Yes,
like you push the button. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Everything on a ring station is built for function, not form. And it prioritizes payment.
Fair. I guess I shove him in a corner and attempt to return fire.
Okay, cool. Are you so you have the nano blade. Do you have a firearm in your inventory?
I have a shotgun.
Okay. Let's see here.
That doesn't have a cool nickname yet, but if you think of anything, let me know.
Let's see here. So one of the ways we decided we would probably work around this idea of the ban on firearms when you're on a ring gate and things like that, because you've been walking around on here for a while, and if you just had a shotgun with you, people would probably notice it, is this idea that you can disassemble firearms and then put them back together fairly easily. So this is probably a shotgun that you carry around in several parts, hidden as everyday objects. Okay, well, so here's the other thing. You have a pistol and you have a shotgun. If you want to use the shotgun, we can try to come up with some convoluted reason for how you've been smuggling a shotgun around. Or you can use the pistol, which does do less damage, but we could just say that's like hidden in your boot or something. It's a lot easier to explain where you were hiding your pistol than your shotgun. It's up to you. We'll just have to get a little more creative if we want to go the shotgun route.
Okay. In that case, so we don't have to do anything convoluted, I will just whip my nano blade back out and chakram toss it at one of them.
I really love that. Okay, this is not an alpha strike. This is definitely firefight. So go ahead and roll plus volatile.
Okay, that is a happy +0.
You could always up that rating with your advance.
I could.
I mean, you're really just raking it in, at least.
Dice Maiden is trying to kill us. That's
apparently
what's happening here. Dice Maiden wants us to die.
How dare you, Dice Maiden? Honestly, actually, 1 second. There's a thing for this. There's 2
out of 7 rolls today, 5 of them are below 6.
Yep. You absolutely did start blasting. So you have the so you whip your chakram back and throw it. I mean, honestly, all this is really representing in character is just how dangerous auditors are. Again, they move almost superhumanly quickly and kind of just like spread out to either side of the room that they were standing in. There's no furniture extended or anything beyond them. It's clearly just sort of that empty cell area. But they sort of just like, as you whip the chakram out and throw it at them, they kind of just like move to either side of the walls. And then as soon as it like passes them and sticks into the wall behind them, they just slide back together. It's almost creepy how in tandem their movements are. So yeah, they just move out of the way and then slide back in and level their weapons back at you. One of them's probably actually just pointing the rifle down at Jaxper at this point. But another one is still sort of keeping up a stream of fire. Or is going to resume firing his weapon now. Yeah, Rashawn is still on the ground, sort of gasping for air. Jaxper, you find yourself in a very unfortunate position. What do you want to do with disadvantage? You just got Sparta kicked in the chest.
Yeah. So, and I'm like on the ground, and like I said in the chat, I think my movements, I do not look good right now.
Right.
Like super jerky, spastic movements. Eyes like just flat, dead. And I think that I really want that knife, but it's past them.
The chakram that carries through?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of sticking out of the back wall of their cell.
Oh, I don't like that. But I'm trying to get his gun away from him again.
Okay.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I would agree.
I've got, so that's 3d6, take the two lowest.
Yeah, and you can do that with
And do that with
not...
if that would be Alpha Strike is disarming somebody
right.
specifically, and that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm not, this really isn't fire. I would like it to be firefight, but it's really not.
I wouldn't say you're in an advantageous position though, and you're not attacking a target that can't retaliate. But, yeah, but I will say, let me see here. If you want to, I'll let you roll keep your cool, but you won't be able to fire the weapon. This is basically just like you coming back online enough to grab his weapon and take it away from him.
Okay.
So that's plus stalwart.
All right. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay, actually, that's a 10. I'm sorry, it's a 9. It's a 9, not a 10.
Okay. All right, cool. That's great. Yeah, I think you still have to pick one thing that is a bad thing that happens, but it's not the end of the world. You have disadvantage going forward, suffer 1 stress, or give up something, leave something behind, or take something with you, and I will tell you what it is.
I'm going to go with that third one. I'm going to go with give something up, leave something behind, or take something with me.
Sick. Okay, cool. All right. Don't worry about that. That's a normal thing. We're never gonna have to worry about that again.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fine.
But you took his gun from him, so how do you do that? What does that look like?
So what I think it winds up looking like is he like Sparta kicked me. I like jerk forward, and I think I almost in a move that no full human would ever do. I think I straight up wrap my whole body around the barrel of the gun. Like I grab it and like flip around it with it still pointed at my chest.
Okay.
And just wrench it out of the guy's hands with using my whole body as leverage.
That's a good thing that worked out for you.
Yeah. And I think it's just the only reason I'm getting away with it is the pure surprise of I did not think this skinny teen was going to do something this dumb.
Right, exactly. Yeah, okay, cool, very cool. So yeah, you basically like take his rifle, and I imagine you kind of like flip it around with like uncharacteristic skill. And point it right back at him, and he definitely looks surprised. They are kind of similarly to the first person you ran into. They are not wearing any sort of badge of office or anything like that. They are just sort of dressed as people like you all. People out here who just sort of travel through the deep, through space, tend to dress very practically. Fashion is not hugely a concern. You want to prioritize like warmth, comfort, layers, that kind of thing, as opposed to being super trendy. Anyone you run into on a ring gate is probably someone who spends most of their time out here, and they're just kind of dressed like that, very functional clothing. But aside from these rifles, and yeah, there's really nothing very interesting about their features at all. But you would also be aware from your past interaction that they can change their faces pretty easily. Yeah, Karis. Neville scrabbles and pulls on your pants, basically like tugs on your pant leg, because he's still on the ground and he's still trying to catch his breath. So he kind of like tugs on your pant legs and gasps out to you, door, and points to the controls on the inside of the room.
Oh, I'm just gonna like hammer fist the controls.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean there is definitely like a close button, and you like just sort of slam that, and the door slides shut. And he...
Fine, just leave me in the hall. Just leave me in the hall with these two auditors. This is gonna be fine. I'll be fine. I'm gonna be fine, Karis. Don't worry about me.
That's definitely what Rashawn was going for.
Oops. Okay, maybe I
never
don't
would have
do
happened.
that.
Well,
No, don't do that. It's the thing that makes sense. And Jaxper probably will be fine. He's tough.
We just got a donation, so sorry about that. Del, I don't think anything that you just said came through, so you might want to repeat that. But guest checkout, thank you so much for the donation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so while I'm out here, gonna get my ass kicked, but yeah, you should absolutely just shut the door. It's the right call. I'll probably be fine.
At least for now. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Neville kind of like stumbles to his feet once you hit the door control, and lurches over towards it and quickly punches in some kind of code that is the locking code. He is the person who has paid for this room. He sets the code that locks the door. So he just punches in a series of numbers on the keypad, and the locking mechanism turns red, and it just has the word locked across it. And he like leans against the wall and is still trying to like and you see he kind of like unbuttons his shirt because you saw him get shot and you saw him go down. Now you can see that he has a vest on underneath his very fine clothing, and the gasping that he is doing is very clearly because he just got the wind knocked out of him. Might have some cracked ribs, hard to say, but he does not appear. He's just like
I should have just left him on the floor.
That would not have been very conducive to our survival.
Well, now we gotta worry about Jaxper. So you go hide somewhere, and
he seems a very capable lad.
Well, what are we gonna do? Sit in this room and wait for everything to blow over?
Yes. He's like starting to get his voice back and catch his breath, and he says, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Do you have anything in here we could use to maybe get us out of this situation? No hidden smoke bomb or something?
I mean, not quite. He will reach under the bed, under the cot that has come out of the wall, and he will pull out a shotgun. So this is the justification, because you do have that in your sheet inventory. that if you want to use the shotgun that you have there, you can take his. That's the justification for how you have access to that. But yeah, he pulls that out and says, "This is all I have, really." In your estimation, how capable is Jaxper?
Capable, but we are up against 2 auditors, so I don't
Yes.
want to fall back on that.
My thought would be you and I stay here. Jaxper hopefully kills both of them. And then if he dies, we will know because they will try to get into the room. And we'll go from there.
Negative, and I snatch the shotgun out of his hand.
I had a feeling you'd say that. And he gets down on the floor and just like rolls under the cot.
Alright.
Just like crosses his arm over his chest and says, "Well, good luck." And just rolls underneath.
Can I hammer fist the controls again and just...
Yeah, you don't have to hammer fist the controls. You can just hit the thing.
I like it for flavor.
Okay, all right.
Just
you just punch
and
it.
Cool. It's cool.
Yep.
We're doing
It
things
is
that are
cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. So as it slides open, we'll cut back to you. But Jaxper, you are aware that the door behind you just slides shut, cutting you off from Karis and Neville. So you are now kind of just alone with these two, and there's a moment where there's a split second where they are sort of tracking the situation, where all of their attention just shifts to you as the only person still out in the hallway.
So at this point, Jaxper, I'm like, is gonna like lock on to them and just say, "Oh, see, now I don't have to be careful." And I'm going to spend some storm, and I'm going to basically start beating on them with their own shotgun.
Okay.
I think I'm going to try to use it as a club to smack it out of the hands of the other guy, and then just start wailing.
Okay. So you're going to spend some storm. Now, the way that works, I definitely remember. So you are lashing out destructively, or acting destructively.
I am.
So you can spend a storm and choose one of the additional effects. Okay, so this would be you roll. Right. We've done this a million times. So you would roll. Sounds like firefight, and then you would spend a storm. Now, do you have storm to spend currently? Because you earn it when you suffer frustration, disappointment, or emotional hurt.
I do.
Okay.
I do have storm to spend. I start with three. Yes, I do have storm to spend.
Okay, cool.
I have one storm left to spend.
Okay, got it. All right, awesome.
And yeah, I'm gonna unleash some fury.
Okay, all right. Let's do it.
Yes. So if I roll a 10 or above, I get to choose an extra option for firefight.
You sure do. So yeah, you get a whole bunch of stuff that's going to happen in the situation. That was a clutch 10 for sure. So yeah, pick exchange harm, pick 3 from the list, and then you said you get an additional one from the list?
Yes, I do.
Is that
that is for the Fury Unleashed, which is a Tempest move. When I engage in vicious hand-to-hand combat, which is why I did not discharge the firearm, and roll a 10 plus for firefight, I choose one extra option.
Smart. So you get to pick 4 from firefight, and then choose an additional effect from oncoming storm.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am going to... I am going to. My weapon does not really have a discharge tag. I mean, I guess I could break it, but it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, I mean you're not firing it, so I would say I will keep first of all keep in mind that you can pick things from that list more than once. Um and then I would also say we'll probably give it a weapon rating of like 1 harm, right? Because at the end of the day it is just a club.
Yeah.
But yeah, go to town.
I want to take evasive action and suffer less than 1 harm.
Yes.
I want to impress, dismay, or frighten my enemy. I would like them to be freaked out. I want to force them out of cover. So I want them to be vulnerable for the next round. And I also want to be disengaged and take a moment to recover.
Okay, cool.
So what I'm thinking what that winds up looking like is I basically leap onto these guys, just smacking them, just laying about myself with this gun club, and I get past them into the other room and I hit that door. I shut that door, flipping them the phone as I do.
So you knock them out into the hallway and then shut the door in the other room to give yourself a break.
Yes. Okay. And to recover Karis's knife. Yes. Because I really want my nanites to get a look at that knife.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. Oncoming Storm. What are you picking from Oncoming Storm?
Oh.
You can do something is broken beyond repair, someone is frightened or cowed, which you kind of already did with Firefight. Someone is injured or scarred, or you have advantage on the roll. Okay.
I already made the roll, so I'm gonna go with
keep that in mind for the future.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with someone who's injured or scarred, which is what I would have.
How do you want that to go down? What is the injured or scarred person? What do they suffer? Do you like break a bone?
I think I break one of the important pieces in their face, their ability to change their face.
Okay, cool. So you just hit one of them in the side of the head with the gun, and their system kind of like their face kind of like glitches out for a second, and then just does that sort of melty thing. Well, it's not really melting; it's drooping, but yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you kind of just like flip them off, slam the door control, and it slides shut, giving you a moment to roll recover. So do that.
Okie dokie. Recover is stalwart.
Stalwart, yeah.
Oh, that's a 9, not a 10, because I hit +2 accidentally.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Very, very good. Okay. And I think you just get to pick one, but that's probably more than enough. On a 7 and 9, you take a little too long. Choose 2, but your enemy gets a chance to get into a better position or prepare themselves.
Okay.
So yeah, you may be entering a more dangerous situation when the door slides back open, but
yes.
you can ready a move, weapon, or piece of gear that has been discharged. You can spend a use of a tactical pack, which I don't think you have, and also nobody's knocked out here. Or you can shrug it off and heal just a scratch or I'm rattled on yourself.
I'm going to heal, and I'm going to recover and prepare that knife.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it had been discharged. But you can absolutely...
No, but it makes sense. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's more to do with flavor than it is anything else. But
I just want to make sure I remembered. Right. I just wanted to make sure I remembered that it had not been discharged. I think it probably can be, though. Anyway, yeah, so you now have the knife, the chakram kind of thing, and you slam that door shut in their faces. So it's almost slapsticky, where Karis, you punch the door control, which slides open, and now you are looking at the two people in the hallway with the other door closed.
Yeah, I greet them with the shotgun.
They are definitely caught unprepared because they were just facing the other door. So you can alpha strike them if you want to. That would be rolling with calculating instead of volatile.
Okay. Hey,
That's a 9. That's very good. Okay, you can choose one. You can disarm or disable them. Your position isn't exposed or compromised. You can deal your weapons harm, and if your weapon has the discharge tag, you can discharge it to double the harm dealt. Shotgun does 3 harm. If you discharge it, you do 6 harm. That's a lot of harm.
So one has droopy face, the other one is fine, right?
The other one is fine, but there's only one gun left now between the two of them because Jaxper took the other.
And one of them is holding the gun still.
Yes, one of them is still holding a gun.
Okay, so I would like to discharge the shotgun at the one still holding the gun.
Okay, I think with a shotgun you can hit both of them because it is spread.
Okay.
It is messy, but it looks like I'd have to check the tag here. I'm not too worried about it though. Let's see, weapon tag's messy. You don't have fine control over what you hit. Okay, so that's not a specific thing necessarily, but it is a how dare you redeem bad science, honestly. But anyway, so yeah, I think you're gonna have to pick one of them, but that's fine. You're choosing to target the one with the gun, right?
Yes.
Okay. He just goes down. He just drops. Like you unload the shotgun into him, and it hits him basically right in the back and propels him forward into the door that Jaxper closed. So Jaxper, you just hear a like thud on the other side of the door that you shut. And he drops. You just did 6 harm to him. He was not in great shape to begin with. The other one is not looking great, but Jaxper, what are you doing in response to that? You're muted, Della.
You're muted.
I'm going to open up that door and I am going to whip that chakram at them,
Okay.
at the remaining dude.
This is such a good visual, right? Where you're like in the one room and then Jaxper jumps out, you slam the door shut, Jaxper jumps into the other room, slams that door shut, the first door opens, the second door opens, and as you do so, you just are taking these guys out handily. So your door slides open and you're using the nano blade chakram to are you just like holding it in your hand and like punching, or are you whipping it at the slack face guy?
And looking at those things, I'm not 100% certain how they are supposed to be used, but I think I'm just gonna slash at him with it.
Okay.
Just
cool.
Like partially because I think I'm half of a portion of attention is going to my nanites being like, what is this?
Right. And I imagine it's kind of like it's kind of like a brass knuckles situation almost. So that feels very natural to Jaxper.
I like to think that when I'm holding it, it glows blue. Maybe when Jaxper holds it, it's a different color because of his nanites.
That's very cool. I do like that idea that it's built specifically for nanobot, like in integration. And so like when Jaxper takes it, your nanites can sync with it, but it is a different thing. And yeah, I don't know, pick a color, I guess.
Yeah, we'll go with let's go with green. Let's go with green.
Cool. So so it lights up green when you hold it.
But when I assume when someone who does not have nanites, it does not do anything.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah. So I'm gonna whip open the door. I'm gonna stab this dude in his whole neck.
Okay. Firefight, I think.
Yeah. Dodges out of the way because the door opening was really slow.
Yeah. I think it's kind of the same.
Gets to advance. It's me.
Ooh.
It's Jaxper.
Big session for advances. Yeah, I think the door slides open, and your nanites are still like, you remember, you've got first gen hardware, and this is like, second gen tech in this thing. So it takes a second. Your nanites are slow to interface with this particular technology, and it costs you a good moment where this person and just sort of duck out of the way. Yeah. He does not have much left on him, unfortunately. He is going to I think he's probably just gonna like whip out a sidearm and try to unload on you, Jaxper. So that's just gonna be 1 harm.
Okay.
But you did just get a second to patch yourself up, so you.
So I'm back to
should
just
have
a
some
scratch.
Just a scratch. Okay, cool. Yeah, yep. You get shot. It hurts. It does not feel good, but it's not in a vital area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you like come across like trying to slash at his eye level, and he drops down to like a knee, whips out the sidearm, and then just like shoots you point blank.
I kind of want to say that he hits me and you can see I'm already starting to knit back together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm injured. I'm still injured. But
yeah.
It's
Yep.
happening.
All right, cool. Karis, you also saw that happen. You saw Jaxper pull out your chakram, which glowed a different color. It's not supposed to glow for anyone else. It's definitely not supposed to glow green, as far as you're aware. And then get shot and started to heal. So if you had any questions about Jaxper's abilities, which you might still, because your nanites don't do that. Like your nanites don't heal you if you get shot.
No.
Not in that way. So you see all of that happen, and you see this last guy duck under Jaxper's attack and shoot him. You see Jaxper get hit with a bullet. And this is not silenced. This pistol was not silenced, so it is very loud. I don't think it's loud enough for Ellis and Maeve to hear back in the Nephilim through the airlock, unfortunately, but it is very loud. Okay. I think it's loud enough though that on the your ship, which has integrated with connected to the ring gate systems, starts playing. A soft voice comes over the comms of the Nephilim, and presumably over the comms of every other ship that's currently docked here. That says, "Emergency situation in progress. Please remain inside your vessel. Emergency situation in progress. Please remain inside your vessel." And out in the ring gate, these soft red emergency lights start flashing.
Great.
Yeah, that's when I hit like the interior intercom. Like, we need to be pliable now.
I mean, the crew is right. The crew is right there. Yeah, you can absolutely talk to them. Or are you just talking to Maeve and
I'm not leaving the door because they're not at the door. Like I'm at the door ready to go, and I'm like, yeah, we need to be,
Yeah, I think Maeve would like turn to the stocky guy and be like, all the parts are at least on the ship, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're not going anywhere anytime soon, but it's gonna be a while still.
I'm not in the room, but like we might be.
Yeah, you might need to revise that idea on what your timetable is. What can we do to move this up, like now?
I mean, listen, my guys are working as hard as they can.
Are they though?
I mean, what are you thinking here, Maeve? Are you gonna try to just like shove him out of the way and be like?
I think if like, especially I'm gonna like assume they're kind of like they have a way that they're doing things that's like makes sense in like an orderly fashion, and instead Maeve is just gonna start like being like, okay, you guys are wasting, like it'll be great if we could get that up and running again before we're in the air, but that won't stop us from getting up in the air, so let's focus on this instead. This is what needs to happen right now.
Yeah, it's triage engineering right now.
Yeah, I'll say this. I'll say you've been overseeing their work, and you're kind of just like have your arms crossed over your chest, and you're just like nervously like tapping your shoulder, because they're doing everything correctly, but they're doing everything by the book. They're not doing like your like bubblegum and duct tape method that like you're more used to. So like you could try to like shove them out of the way and just kind of like be like, I mean, if you want to, you could try to do this where you're just like, yeah, all right,
I don't think it would be faster.
Like you could do this and just be like, all right, if I connect these two things, we'll fly.
Yeah.
Like we may not make it past Mars, but that's as far as you need to go. So if you want to try to do that, yeah, he's kind of just like looking around and like rubbing the back of his neck, and he's like, well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're kind of just, working as hard as they can. I don't really know what you can expect with the timetable we've been given.
Yeah, I think Maeve is gonna be like, okay, fair, but counterpoint, let me just do this real quick and just start like messing with the stuff that she wants to
Okay.
see done like now.
Yeah, he's not like laying a hand on you or anything, but he's definitely like, ma'am, you can't do that. Like, this is part of the contract that we signed.
Look, I'm not going to tell anybody. You're not going to tell anybody, right? Right? This is just between us right now. No one else has to know that I'm just connecting these two things. This will be fine. It's my ship. I'm the one that's going to suffer if I do it wrong. So, like, this is fine.
So, all right. It kind of sounds like you're maybe trying to charm him.
Oh, no. I mean, sure, we can say that I'm just trying to use my, cute,
right,
sweet Maeve vibe to be like, we don't have to make a thing of this.
Okay, all right. You can roll slick.
Okay, sure, that's a thing we're gonna see how that plays out. Yeah, get that potential.
Yeah.
Maeve is not slick, not at all. So.
No, I mean that makes sense, and I mean he's like a little uncomfortable when you try to like turn the charm on him. He's sort of like, ma'am, please stop. Whatever it is you're doing, please stop. Look, be like level with me. Is this? He like points to like points to the comms unit where the message came from about the emergency situation, and the voice is still saying that. He says in kind of a quiet voice, like, is this you all?
Almost certainly, yes. Like, no attempt at lying. That is not Maeve's MO.
He looks down.
It's like, yes, that's almost certainly the.
You know how I have a
my
gun
crew's
now,
fault.
and the Texan guy's real mad.
Yeah. You know what? You remember the gun? Remember the gun situation? That's probably just the tip of the iceberg, if I'm being totally honest about what's probably happening right now.
He looks down. So
I think it would be best for all of us if very shortly I and my whole ship is no longer here and no longer your problem.
I mean, he looks down at the data pad in his hand and he says, all right, look, everything's already paid up for the patch job as it is. It's no skin off of my back if you want to try to get it flying again through whatever means you got, but the paperwork is going to get filed, and if somebody comes looking for it, I can only bury it so deep. So
that's fine by me.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. So you are going to try to just sort of like get the ship, like you're just going to try to like, you've been eyeing the same two like circuits this entire time. Like, that's it. That's all it would take. Just do that. Just connect those two. This would be fine.
Yeah.
And it's been driving you absolutely 100%. Crazy.
100%. I can do the rest of this once we're up there. Right. Just do that. Do that right. First.
Okay. You're going to keep your cool, but expert is going to come into play here.
Okay.
So you can choose to do one of the following. You can choose if you can. I don't think keep your cool makes you pick from a list, right?
I don't.
It does.
It does. Okay. So you can choose one more or one less.
Okay.
You can ask me a question about the situation that relates to your expertise, and I will answer and ask you a question, which you must answer. Or you can, or you share your expertise with a crew member. and they have advantage going forward when acting on that knowledge. So I imagine in this sense, you want to choose one more or one less for keep your cool.
You want one less, generally.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, roll plus stalwart.
Okay. That's a little bit better then. Okay, yeah.
That is a 9, and I think that's exactly what you needed because keep your cool. On a 7 to 9, choose one. You have disadvantage going forward. Suffer 1 stress. Give something up, leave something behind, or take something with you, and I will say what. I assume you're choosing to pick one less from that list. I mean, the alternative is picking one more, and I don't think you want to pick any.
Yeah, let's go with the I don't have to pick any.
Those are all bad things. So
good to me.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you don't pick. You don't have to pick any of those, and you kind of just lunge forward, connect the two things that you've been eyeing this entire time, and the ship kind of like hums back up. Like you can hear the engines starting to warm up already, and yeah.
Oh, that's such a relief. That was bugging me for the last hour.
He like puts his hands up. He looks kind of surprised and a little bit impressed. The foreman does, and he's like, "All right, seems like the contract's done to me. It's not going to get you far though. Be careful."
Thanks for the heads up.
That's when Alice like kicks open the door to the engineering department. It's like, time for you boys to go.
Yeah. They're like more than happy. He's like he finishes the conversation with you and is like, "All right, boys, early lunch," and everybody like kind of just packs it up and heads out of the ship. Although they can't super leave right now because of the emergency situation.
I'll offer them the hard choice. I'm like, either you get off now, or you're going with us wherever we're going. Because whatever comes down that doorway is not going to be friendly.
Kind of want Ellis to intimidate.
Fuck yeah. I get to do a cool thing in a hound situation where I can do that with a steely glare.
Hell yeah. Okay. So that's plus volatile.
So I actually get to do it with stalwart.
Ooh.
Because I am a hound.
A hound.
Hound. So I get a 14.
Damn.
And
apparently Dice Maiden is playing favorites.
Well, I honestly like I want to advance too. But real. They get to pick 2. They can either shut up immediately, stop moving, lower their weapons, do something stupid, or hesitate, stumble, or mutter.
Okay.
Stupid or reckless.
Right. I mean, they're going to. They just want to like. I think you got a 14. Oh, this is your hound thing, right? This is different from
steely glare. This is instead of responding with more words, when he starts to argue, I just.
Cool. All right. They choose to. Yeah, they shut up immediately. And they do something
case, like stop moving could also be move faster.
I was gonna say they do something stupid or reckless, which is leave this ship in the middle of an emergency situation that they know nothing about.
Perfect.
So yeah, he like takes one look at you with your like guns.
Literally holding a shotgun, and I'm like,
And that's when he's like, "All right, boys, early lunch. Let's get the fuck out of here." Yeah. And you like open the airlock. They get off real fast, and then you close it back up. I assume.
Find a safer spot to be.
Yep. All right. Cool.
Maeve like ignores that whole interaction. She's already like doing all the other stuff that's like, okay, so now that that's done, here's all the would be nice to also have done before we get in the air type stuff. And she's just like already diving in and doing it.
Steering is the next up. Steering would be good.
There's a couple things that you can get going there, but back down the hallway by Neville's quarters. I mean, there's still just this one impossible to hurt guy, apparently. Who wants to do something about this guy?
He's currently on his knee, aiming
Yeah.
at Jaxper, right?
Yeah, he just shot Jaxper in the torso.
Okay, so could I just come up behind him and like butt him over the head with the shotgun?
You can absolutely try. I would call that an alpha strike.
Okay.
That's going to be plus calculating, and if you succeed, that would be you disarm or disable them.
Okay. Come on, Dice Maiden.
Come on, Dice Maiden.
This maiden continues her favoritism.
Apparently.
This is not cute.
I mean, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. I mean, so remember, right? Like we're kind of like making fun of them here, but these are auditors. They are just incredibly capable, highly augmented assassins, in essence. So yeah, you come up behind him to try to sneak up on him, and he is fully aware that you are there. He is going to throw himself into a roll away from you, like a little further down the hallway. So you're like knocking him over the head with the butt of the shotgun is gonna miss. And then as he sort of lands on his back, he's gonna shift his position, bring the pistol to bear on you, Karis, and fire at you. And you're gonna take 1 harm from that.
Okay.
And
I will mark off a stress. I'm very stressed out, apparently.
I think in response to that, I am dropping to my knees and shooting him with the other shotgun, the shotgun I stole.
Okay. All right. You have an assault rifle. That's what they were firing. So yes, you can so you can firefight him. That's going to be 3 harm if you hit. And that weapon can be discharged as well, depending on how you do the firefight.
Okay. Can I reroll? I didn't mean to do plus 10. I meant to do 2d6 plus 2.
Yeah, go ahead and reroll it. That's fine.
Because that was dumb.
Yeah. I was very confused. I was like, a 13, that's great.
Like, no, that's
Plus
an
8.
8.
Plus 8, cool. Okay. So with a firefight, and you get to pick 1 extra. Or no, sorry, this isn't hand-to-hand combat, so you don't get to pick 1 extra. Yeah. But you do exchange harm, and you choose 1. So you can discharge the weapon and deal double its harm. You can take evasive action and suffer minus 1 harm, or so on and so forth. And it's a pistol, so it only does 1 harm anyway.
You just told me it was an assault rifle, so no, he's got a pistol. Yeah, no, I'm discharging it. I'm discharging it,
okay.
And I'm just unloading on this motherfucker. He saw me healing. He has to die.
Yeah. He like threw himself into that roll and like ended up sort of sliding backwards, and you just fully spray with bullets. My thought is discharging an assault rifle at this man as he is prone is probably going to be deadly.
Now we can do murder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the reasons why this fight took as long as it did, I think, was because you were trying to be non-deadly, or at least Jaxper was. And now, like, in this situation, Jaxper's kind of made this call, or maybe the nanites sort of made this call for Jaxper, even, where they were like, this is stupid and taking too long, just do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's up to Della, of course. That's up to Jaxper. But yeah, maybe there's that moment of realization, but yeah, fully you have just shot this man, this auditor. And yeah.
I think Jax is going to stand up, hand Karis the chakram back, and just say, "Get the client. We got to go."
Yeah, Neville kind of like army crawls out from under the cot and like dusts himself off a little bit, grabs the bag from the shelf, grabs the briefcase, and says, "Yes, let's make haste, shall we?"
Oh no, he's getting punched in the stomach and fireman carried. Like I am like, and like not in a like an aggressive, like I'm trying to hurt you way, just in a I need you to bend over now.
And this is like the easiest way Jaxper knows to get someone to bend over.
It is literally what professional bodyguards do if they need you to.
Yeah, good old fireman carry.
You're now a duffel bag. you're not a person. You're a duffel bag.
You are
I
now
mean-
a duffel bag. I need you to be a duffel bag. And
Okay.
yes, it probably is the only way that Jaxper knows how to get someone to bend over.
I will say that he like crawled out under his own free will, was perfectly capable of standing, grabbed his bags. So Jaxper doing this, I don't think there's going to be any way Jaxper can explain it as like, no, I was just carrying him because he was injured or whatever. It's if you punch him in the stomach, you're just straight up punching him in the stomach, and that's fine. I just want to.
Yeah, I just need him to move. I don't believe he's going to move fast enough.
Okay.
I don't
So
believe
I
he's going to
assume
move fast
That then
enough.
Karis is going to carry the gear, right? Because
Yeah,
he's going
I'll-
to drop
I'll
whatever
carry
he's
the-
carrying.
Yeah, okay,
if
that's
you hit
fine.
him in the
That's
solar
fine.
plexus.
I can also not do that, but
No, I mean, if you want to punch him in the stomach, that's
Oh,
fine.
I
just
like
want to
it.
make. I just want
Yeah.
to
yeah,
make
no,
sure that.
it's seriously just say, okay, we got to do the thing. I'm going to do the thing. This is the easiest way to do the thing, and I won't have to listen to you.
Okay.
Can we,
Oh, did you
can
get
we
your
punch
shit?
him in the
Cool.
stomach together? Can we both just look at each other and just like,
Nano Bros.
yeah.
Like a
No,
double
it's a
dragon
building
moment.
exercise
like,
now.
slapping it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
I
punch
would-
him in the stomach,
Fuck this.
and you pick him up, throw him over your shoulder, drag him to the ship. Yeah, you basically are just carrying him down the hallway. I think that's fine. He definitely does drop his stuff. As long as Karis grabs it, that's not an issue.
Mhm.
As for the bodies,
Yeah.
can I drag them into the room and destroy the door control?
Interesting. Yeah, you can do that. I don't know that it will like the problem is like you can slam the door closed, you can make the door shut. The locking mechanism is on the inside, right? So if you shoot that, it's like it's just not gonna close. It's not like Star
Okay.
Wars where you can like shoot the door controls from the outside and then suddenly like the door doesn't work anymore. The
Right.
locking mechanism is on the inside. But you can
There's no way to
absolutely
lock it from the outside.
Can I just smash
I mean,
their
I guess there
handhelds then?
would
and
be,
then
but
keep going?
we did already establish that it is code based to do that. And,
Yeah.
and Karis doesn't have the code
Mhm.
as not the proprietor. But yeah, you can just sort of shut the door on them if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, that way they're just, someone has to go looking
Right.
and there aren't just two bodies laying in a hallway.
Cool. Okay, yeah. You grab the guy, you grab Rashawn, and you throw him over your shoulder, and you hightail it to the ship. And like as you, I assume Ellis is kind of just watching through the view screen, and you
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
like
see,
I'm waiting for
Yeah.
like I don't know the exact details of what it looks like from out our ship door onto the dock or the hallway, but I am like either face in the window or looking through the video camera, waiting for those two idiots and the moron that took them to his room, because I assume they're going to be running down the hallway with bullets following them.
Right,
Like
right.
that's my expectation.
Right. Yeah. I think as you
As
you
soon
were
as I see
looking,
them, like the door is sliding
Yeah.
open, and then I'm standing in the doorway, like shotgun ready, like
Right. Yeah, you definitely see Karis. I'm sorry, not Karis. You definitely see Jaxper run up first with Neville thrown over his shoulder. And yeah, you can punch the airlock immediately to throw it
yeah.
open.
door's open. I'm standing like I come
Right.
out of the door, like
Right,
to
right.
give him a way in.
And Jaxper, as you do that, you can see around the other bend farther down in the from the direction of the personnel area that you were in earlier, you can see like about probably about 8 or so ring security personnel in the same uniform that you saw earlier that has the Tranquility crest on it, come like running around the corner. But that's like right as you get to that's like right as Karis is getting to the airlock, I think. So you can kind of like duck inside and yeah, I imagine as you do so, the door shuts.
Yep. Yeah, I'm waiting behind Karis, but
Right,
like
right.
security guards are out. I don't give a shit. Like as soon as he's inside,
Yeah.
rolling inside the door and slamming the lock.
They're definitely yelling at you to freeze, hold,
Yeah, no,
stop.
fuck off. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
care. It's time to go. Blow the docking clamps. Let's go.
Right, right. Okay. You are all on board, but now you have to get away from Ringgate, which is its own.
Karis,
set
get
of
on that stick.
challenges.
Let's fucking go. It's time to fly.
Yeah, I think if you're doing this over
Yep.
the intercom,
100%,
Maeve is absolutely going to be like, "Okay, that should work, but it's going to be real bumpy, so
Make it work."
everybody should strap in."
Okay, and I think we'll take.
And then
a
I'm
break
gonna go
here.
run on the grapplers.
Okay, yeah, I think we'll take a break here and come back in about 5 minutes to resolve the rest of your daring escape from this ring station. So yeah, please don't go anywhere if you're watching us. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. We'll play some music in the meantime. Yeah, and we'll pick this up in about 5. So thanks everyone. See you soon. We are back.
Yeah, I have the.
Hello everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. We're back from our break. Yeah, let's pick it back up. So you all just managed to get back on the ship. Rashawn Neville is very sort of winded. If Jaxper punching him in the stomach accomplished anything, it was shutting him up.
I am
now
hugging
you-
him in. I'm hugging him in a cabin, strapping him to a crash couch, and having Karis strap his bag down. and
I
being
mean,
like,
realistically
"Brace
speaking, that's going to be like a whole thing. But you can absolutely just drop him when you get on the ship.
Okay.
And then we'll we'll go from there because like getting into the logistics of the ship where like you are in the airlock bay and then running out to the rooms, running that whole thing. But you can absolutely just get on and drop him. And if you really feel strongly about throwing him into a cabin, we can do that. It's just going to take a little time for you to do so.
I should probably just drop him, look at him, and just say "brace for maneuvers" and go about my business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what Jaxper's job is during that. Because Karis is definitely the one man in the ship. And then I'm jumping on the grappler arms, assuming that I'm going to have to, like, do something to rip us out of this docking bay.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I think effectively what is happening here is you are on the ship. Karis, you're basically bolting for the cockpit, it sounds like.
Yeah, I just, after running through the airlock, drop the bags, or toss the bags and say, "No time, gotta go, let's go."
And Maeve, you are still in the engine room. You never left.
Oh,
right?
100%. I'm expecting small fires potentially.
Yeah.
Metaphorical or literal to
I was-
happen when we get going. So
I was
I'm
gonna
here
say-
to deal with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say all of your systems and everything in here, you still have like bullet holes and things like that in there from when the hijackers basically just blasted things. But you've managed to get stuff patched up enough that it's working correctly.
Yes.
So yeah, Karis, you jump into the cockpit and kind of throw yourself in the chair to take off. You immediately get an error. Because remember, the way that ring gates work is they basically sync with your ship, and that's the process by which they guide you through the gate network, or through the ring network rather, to your destination at such dangerously high speeds. While you are synced with the ring gate, they appear to have locked down your systems.
And I have already discharged my hacking. I have not
You
been able
did.
to recover that, have I? Okay.
You did.
Whoa.
But back down. You are not there for that, but I assume you're kind of communicating this to everyone.
Hey guys, system error. I can't get us out. Someone's got to do something.
All right. Like what?
Neville, from where he was, Rashawn, from where he was unceremoniously tossed on the ground, kind of stands up and dust himself up and says, "Well, as I was trying to say earlier, before I was punched in the gut," with a meaningful look at Jaxper, "I'll need your communications hub. You could just any terminal, essentially." Yeah, he basically like hops on the terminal, or he walks actually pretty casually. He's surprisingly nonplussed, whether or not it's an image or whatever that he's a facade that he's putting on. Hard to say, but he appears endlessly nonplussed, and he walks over to the terminal and keys in some commands, and Margot's face, the station administrator's a face appears on camera, and she sees him, has a moment of like not shock but frustration, and she immediately goes into administrator mode and says, Vessel Nephilim, you have been flagged for suspicious behavior. Prepare to be boarded by Ring Station crew, and prepare to have your vessel inspected and your personnel interviewed. And Rashawn gives her his most charming smile and says, now Margot, level 9. And she closes her eyes and takes a deep breath, lets it out, and says, Vessel Nephilim, you're cleared for departure. Obviously, there was a system error. You were flagged mistakenly. And the error on the on Karis's screen blinks away.
Handy when he solves his own problems. I was gonna give him a lot of credit, but it's like, you caused this.
Yeah, I've got a lot of empathy for Margot.
Yeah. Poor Margot.
Poor Margot.
Poor Margot.
I don't. She's involved. She got involved.
I mean, yeah,
So-
the way she got sucked into this was by accepting bribes. So
Yeah,
but,
she did take
but
money for this.
whomst amongst this crew wouldn't have done the same?
Right. Exactly.
I'd probably just hit people.
So you have the helm now again, Karis. Are you just basically disengaging?
Oh yeah, disengage and flooring it.
Okay.
Yep.
No.
Flooring it as much as you are able, absolutely. So you kind of like from the exterior shot of the ring gate where you have currently been docked for the last like three days or so, I think we established. The Nephilim just kind of detaches and floats away from the ring gate a short distance as the systems all hum, the engines light up, the two outstretched like landing gear swivel back into their places, secondary thrusters, and she comes back to life. And I imagine what you're doing is probably just piloting her down into the gate itself to resume your travel on the ring network, which is really the only way to reach Mars in any amount of time, in any reasonable amount of time. Okay, cool. So the way that is going to work is we're actually going to use your ship move, and this is going to represent everybody working together with Maeve trying to keep the ship flying, and Karis piloting. Although the ring gate does take control of your systems, it autopilots you through this basically because the human mind cannot. The human mind is just not fast enough to account for like a free floating piece of rock when you are traveling at such incredible speeds.
Is it like a car wash track? Just
it's kind of like a car wash track, but with like autopilot instead of like actual things on the bottom of your car. But yeah, the principle is the same. So you're gonna roll. Well, someone is gonna roll plus alien. My thought is that it would be Karis as the pilot, but I could see it being Maeve also. I would say anyone who's being an active participant of flying the ship at this point, which would probably be mostly Maeve and Karis, could roll plus alien. Whichever one of you.
How's your alien looking, Maeve?
I have a 0 in alien, so unless you're actively bad at it, it's a wash. You're actively bad at Alien.
Yeah, I am a big old -1.
Keep in
Okay.
mind that this is not an expression of like skill as a mechanic or skill as a pilot. This is basically a pure luck roll. Like, does something go wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll roll. Why not? I haven't gotten to roll much this game.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well,
Mark of potential. I mean,
sorry, everybody.
take an experience.
God, Dice Maiden is just.
can I
Time.
can I roll independently now then?
Ooh, no,
Okay.
you cannot. But oh man, this is
Oops.
exciting.
No, it's not. I don't like that. No, I do not like that reaction. How many drugs do I have to turn in to get us a chance to re-roll? Is that a thing?
No, see, that's donation based. You would have to donate money, Jen.
How much do I need to pay to buy you off, is what I'm saying.
I was joking because you already donated
Bribe
and it
the
wasn't
thief.
enough.
Damn it.
Yeah. No, okay, so you are you make it pretty far on the ring gate. Like you make it most of the way in your journey and like just shy of entering what would be considered Mars space. An appropriate use of the emo gif. To be sure. But as you are approaching what would be considered Mars space, you I think probably you are actually sleeping. And we can establish some stuff at this point because this is very much a time passing scenario. The ring gate is not even close to instantaneous travel, right? It's not hyperdrive or faster than light or anything like that. It's just a much faster form of propulsion than what your ship would be capable of on its own. And it consumes far less resources than running the engines and consuming fuel would. So, what are you doing with Rashawn?
I don't think he would be locked down or anything. Like, do we have a space for? I think we established that we're not doing like hyper sleep or anything, right? It's just like regular resting stuff. So, do we have an extra regular cabin?
You mean Grace's?
No. Like, I know we have the captain's cabin, and then there's the four of us, but I didn't know if we had like, are there 6 billets on the ship, or?
Is there like a hammock in storage?
Let me check the very technical diagram.
Actually, Maeve probably would just be bunking in the engine room.
Probably.
For this moment, just because she is so concerned about, they did not fully fix the ship before they decided to start going. So I think she actually does have like a hammock in the engine room she uses during some times.
I mean, that would make sense.
I think you could probably toss him in Maeve's room, and she wouldn't care because
she
doesn't have any secrets.
I found our very technical diagram.
Yes.
The only extra room is Grace's. The only extra cabin is Grace's.
Then yeah, he's gonna bunk out in Maeve's room.
Okay.
He definitely ain't going in Grace's room.
Okay.
Well, I assume that at a certain point, Ellis is going to be moving into the captain's cabin.
We haven't really
concerned Ellis noises.
Not saying that in character because until I need to build up some more storms. So
yeah. No, concerned Ellis noises in response to that.
Yeah, you guys haven't really had that conversation yet, so.
Nope.
That's because she's still alive, and we're going to find her.
Obviously, yes. Nobody's arguing with that. Obviously,
you're damn right, Delaney. Absolutely.
Still alive.
So Rashawn Neville would absolutely like be fine with. But it doesn't sound like you're confining him to cabin or anything like that. Like,
I think there's certain areas where he's told not go into these areas.
Sure.
If you go into these areas, someone's gonna hit you.
Sure.
I think Jaxper puts it that way, and Ellis makes it more clear of like, there's areas on the ship that are dangerous. This is not a passenger liner. Don't go into the engine room. No one knows what's a deadly in there. Maeve's the only one who knows. Don't go on to the fucking flight deck. Karis has got knives. I don't know. Stay here. You want to be in your room or the canteen, maybe the cargo bay. Going anywhere else,
uh,
I can't guarantee your fingers. That's about it. Just basically
you guys
outlining that,
don't
like,
know about my knives yet.
I just Ellis assumes everyone is dangerous, and you're a quiet guy who murdered someone just literally the other day. So my assumption is you're also
We
dangerous.
haven't done it. We have not done a ship's debrief on that entire experience, which might be something we would be doing during this downtime.
Yeah, that
Precisely,
was probably my thought.
Yeah. This is also
Um,
just like a this is not an OSHA certified fucking passenger liner. Like there's shit on here that's dangerous that I don't even know it's dangerous. Like stay in your
OSHA.
fucking room.
Space OSHA.
Space OSHA. Sposha.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, you are all in for this journey, and Rashawn is for the most part staying out of your way. He is probably spending a lot of time in his own cabin, but as like time goes on, before you have the impending accident brought on by that 4, I think he would. Well, are you guys going to have a debrief, first of all? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think once we're
Yes.
on our ring journey and everyone doesn't need to be at battle stations.
Yeah. You're
Is there
really
time
Actually,
for
I think Ellis would push for it before Maeve is done, whatever she's done doing.
Mhm.
Is that like I would like push earlier while Maeve is still like busy hooking up secondary systems or whatever, like
Yeah.
corner Jaxper and Terrace and be like, all right, what the fuck happened in there?
Yeah, I was
How
gonna say,
bad
unless you make her, Maeve is not gonna sit on this debrief because she's
No.
got stuff to do.
Right.
So it
yeah.
would it would be a few days out to Mars from where you were if you
Sure.
if nothing were to go wrong. We already know something is going to go wrong.
Nothing is.
But I assume on like day 1 or something like that, probably you find a time, maybe after meal, when Rashawn is in his quarters or in Maeve's quarters rather, to try to get everyone together to talk about what just happened and what your next move is going to be.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, maybe there was like a moment immediately after flying away that I was like, what the fuck happened? And everyone was like, we're too busy. And he was like,
Right.
we're going to talk about this shit.
Yeah, it probably takes a while of flying for people to finally be like, okay, no one's chasing us. The ship is not exploding. So far, so good. Yeah. So
The
so
explosions
yeah,
have been minimal and fixable
right.
Yeah.
Right.
so far.
So after as your family meal wraps up, Rashawn sort of stands up from the table and stretches a little bit and says, "Well, thank you for the lovely meal as always. I will retire to Maeve's generously provided quarters, and I will see you all in the morning. Have an excellent night. Thank you all." And excuses himself.
On the topic of rest, how do I de-stress and de-harm?
So stress sticks around for a long time. It doesn't go away except for certain moves that let you get rid of them. So the most common way is during downtime. You can have like interactions with people, and this is probably part of downtime at this point.
Yeah, it's during downtime you would have rolled to, yeah.
Right. So we can describe what you are doing during your downtime, and then you can declare that you're working on a personal project. You can confront a crew member with a grievance or disagreement, or you can spend time getting closer to a crew member, and you can each choose to heal 1 stress or have advantage going forward.
And specifically, just a scratch and I'm rattled resolve after the scene. So those are gone.
Yeah.
The only wounds that stick around are the ones after that, but the first 2 reset pretty easily. But yeah, you are at this mealtime table together.
Maeve, you had something else you needed to patch or...
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot in that engine room that would be good to have fixed before something comes up.
All right, well, stay on it, and let any of us know if you need a hand or a wrench or something. I don't know.
Are you
And I'll wait for her to
Are you excluding me?
Oh, explicitly. Yeah, 100%. Because I know that things went really fucking bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because also, Jaxper came back with a fucking bullet wound. Like,
I
it was
also
No,
healing.
Jaxper did not.
You had blood on you.
Jaxper came back with blood on his clothes
Yeah.
and a hole in his shirt
Yes.
and a hole in the
Karis
back
got-
of his shirt.
I got
Okay.
stabbed with the nano blade.
You did.
Also true. So yeah, Ellis would have noticed those things of the sign of a really bad fight, and
Yes.
Yeah.
is now waiting for
Maeve,
this.
yeah, Maeve didn't see them when they first came back. They probably had time to clean up before Maeve got a look at any of them.
Mhm,
You also
mhm.
might not have even known, like, oh
I
man,
might
there's
not
more
have.
blood
I
on
might
them
have
than
had-
there was. That's
I
weird.
might have had tunnel vision, honestly.
But yeah. So the three of you, after Maeve recuses herself back to fixing the engine, are
So what the fuck happened on?
Small
You
ops.
came back with a body over your shoulder, 2 bags that apparently that man needed, and a lot of blood and station security following you. So what exactly the fuck happened?
Well, it's not all our blood.
Oh, thank you. That's so
Most
much
of it.
better, Paris.
Most of it, not ours. There were 2 auditors.
2 more
Sweet.
auditors, in addition to the first one that you knocked out in the hallway and left in a garbage chute or wherever the fuck you put him.
Locker.
Locker, sure. Yeah.
There's 2 fewer auditors now.
Yes.
So
there's
I'm
there's
sorry.
still the one auditor.
So the numbers, as I understand them, are you knocked one unconscious and pantsed him into a locker, and then you killed 2, right? They're dead, right? You fucking
Mhm.
okay.
Uh,
And is that okay? No, go on, Karis. How many more auditors did you all fight while on a ring gate?
Just the 3. There
Uh-huh.
might be 2 more we don't know about.
Oh, good. All right, excellent. So then there's 2 auditors currently in pursuit of the vessel. All right, and the gentleman
I'll
that we
bet
have
there's more now.
in Maeve's quarters. Mhm,
I'll
mhm.
bet there's more now.
Oh yes. Oh no, that's definitely for sure, Jackson. Okay. All right.
But they might not be on our tails yet.
I'm gonna go with if they found him on the
Maybe.
ring gate and 2 of them are still alive, they're definitely on our tails currently. Yeah, that's probably.
Well,
How familiar are both of you with the auditor system and how tenacious and capable they are as people?
I would imagine Karis is pretty familiar.
Yeah,
Do you
I
share
was
that
gonna
with
say
me though? Like, do you say that like you're like, yeah, no, I know everything about that.
right. I was gonna say
Oh,
if Karis wants to talk about them, if Karis wants to be open, because you probably know a fair amount about them, they're kind of your counterpart from Earth, as opposed to you as a Takamagahara equivalent.
Right.
You could share your expertise, which is a mechanic in this game, and you can roll that whether or not you share the information with Ellis.
So I was gonna roll that as well because I know Ellis has familiarity with them, having worked with the
Yeah.
syndicates on Earth and stuff like that. That like Ellis knows shit about this and about exactly how bad that was. That like you guys did that.
I think
So if you wanna roll
so. I
it.
think you 2 are gonna like make very serious faces about this, and
Yeah.
Jaxper's gonna be like, I don't know, they went down pretty easy. I only got
What
shot
happened
once.
when I fail?
That's a success.
Not
You
much
don't
better.
you don't have any calculating, Ellis?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you fail share expertise, nothing bad really happens. Basically, the rule of thumb anytime you fail a roll in this is I get to stockpile a move that I can take against you later.
Right.
But for a 9 on share expertise, you could ask. I will give you an interesting answer to your question, but it's up to you to make it useful. So if you want to ask me a question, Karis, about the auditors, go for it, and I will tell you an answer, and you will decide if it is useful or not.
You can also decide to share it or not. Like this is you asking
Yeah.
kind of your own knowledge. Yeah.
Okay.
So is there anything in particular you're wondering about them? Like, would they be in pursuit? How do they pursue? Stuff like that.
I feel like I should automatically assume they know who we are and what our ship looks like.
Maybe. It's a safe assumption. It's not necessarily accurate, but yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I want to use my question for something that I can't necessarily assume.
That is fair.
Ideas?
My general question was going to be what means they use to track individuals or ships, because I presume that given we took out 3 but left 2, that either they're all kind of connected, much like our Bluetooths, or something similar, so that they would be, like they know your faces or they know what happened where, or that they have the capability to like tag somebody. Because I do know, just as of the system, because of what my character is, that there are tracers and ways to trace people. So
Right.
maybe what kind of tracing situation do the others have, or how much would those other 2 auditors know?
Well, how
after
about
the fight?
are we being tracked right now?
Karis, you know that they do use. It's not quite nanotechnology. It is very, very small technology. Kind of like what your micro drones are imagined as. We sort of reflavored yours as actual nanotechnology, but you would know that they do use they do use like micro drone trackers. And thinking back to it, honestly, I don't remember at what stage during the fight this happened, because you were both separated at different points from one another. Thinking back to it, there was one moment where Jaxper decided to take something with him.
The door was closed when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Karis. Karis wouldn't have seen that.
Right. So that's fair. There's a high possibility that you are currently being tracked by them actively.
Okay. So
I share that with us.
Yeah. We're definitely being tracked. So
Take care of enough.
Scan the system through.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess we should fucking check everything. Your weapons, your clothes, the blood you left. I mean, for God's sakes, you got shot in a hallway. They're gonna have your fucking DNA. Yeah, one could presume. What? Good luck.
Nothing.
I know that you're very special, Jaxper, but you do have DNA, presumably. Okay, all right. So let's refresh our memory. And I'm asking this out of character as well. Like, all right, so where and how quickly are we getting rid of Neville, Problem Man? Because he's just looking to get dropped off on Mars, right? Like, did he have him? Like, he didn't need us past that point, right?
No, the contract was full payment upon delivery to Mars.
Okay, so yeah, I think Ellis's concept here is we need to fulfill that as rapidly and as publicly as possible, because he also is familiar, just like Neville is, that like now we are incorporated, like we are considered to be basically a terrorist unit alongside Neville, so we need to sever that as aggressively as possible without actually like throwing him into a canteen on Mars and shooting him to death and then walking away. But like we need to publicly disavow this man on Mars as soon as possible. And then, fucking get out of Dodge.
I would assume that between Jax and Ellis, that you guys know enough shady characters on Mars to maybe take care of that for us.
Do you mean take care of Neville? I don't think that we need to do that. The auditors are going to handle that. There's going to be 150 of them on Mars waiting for his ass. No, we just need to make sure that they know we are not affiliated in any capacity. And then if they decide they want to ramble, then we'll deal with that.
Can we drop an anonymous tip to the
That's
auditors?
worse. That's worse, Karis. If we drop an anonymous tip that we are going to arrive on Mars with something that they want, they'll kill all of us and take it.
Well, what if we just
I meant
say,
after we drop them
hey,
off.
hey,
Oh, we
it's
can-
Nephilim. We just dropped this guy off on Mars. Bye.
Oh, but
Also
then
an
he sells us
option-
out to the auditors.
No, he's already going to do that. That's what we assume. You killed 3 of them. There's nothing we can do to make it up to them. We just have to hope that they want him more than they care about avenging their people. I'm not saying you shouldn't have killed them. I certainly understand the desire to shoot an auditor. But
It was them or
you have
us.
certainly endangered. Yeah, well, it always is. You've endangered us and the ship, and most definitely our current and overarching goal of finding who the fuck sold Grace down the river and killed her. So we're gonna hope that we can put a pause on fighting the entire, Earth conglomerate.
The Earth Coalition, yeah.
The Earth Coalition, thank you. Hopefully they can sit on that for a bit while we work out our own problems.
So what I'm hearing here is you don't want to take any more bodyguard contracts.
No, the 2 of you are officially disabused of the notion that you can protect people. You're great at killing folks, don't get me wrong. Yeah, this is the 2 days later anger. This is the I fucking told you, but also now we're all gonna die. So let's be a little more pragmatic than.
So what would you have done? You got two.
I would have
you
let
got-
them kill him. Because I would rather kind of renege on the contract that we had made with the idiot who's in Maeve's room than fight the entirety of the Earth Coalition. I don't know if you've fought the Earth Coalition before. They're horrifying. We will all probably die when we get to Mars. I'm just throwing that out there so that you're both prepared for it. Unless you've got some fancy contacts that I don't know about, but none of the people I know can protect you from the entire might of the auditor department of the Earth Coalition. When I said 150, I was being reasonable. You killed 3 of them. They don't take kindly to that.
When you say shady contacts, I kind of clear my throat a little bit, look down at the table, and just sip my tea.
I hope you do. I don't know nothing about you, Karis, but I sure hope you know somebody more powerful than the Earth Coalition. I don't know who the fuck that would be, but that'd be great if you have a way to negotiate with auditors. Because I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of people die. I've worked with some groups that are pretty powerful on Earth, and they avoid killing auditors. So y'all made a choice. I'm not saying it was the wrong one. I'm just saying it's the one that's most likely to now get us killed.
Do I have the ability to contact my organization?
You do. You definitely do. Yep. And we can absolutely get to that as part of like the downtime that's going to ensue.
So you're telling me that
that we're
after
fucked?
that,
Yes.
No, I get that. You're always telling us that we're fucked. I don't
Well,
think
we generally are.
I don't think you and I have had a single conversation that did not involve you telling me that we're fucked. So excuse me if I'm gonna take
That's
this
not
with a grain of goddamn salt.
I mean,
because
you can be salty all you like. We're pretty fucked.
Cool. You're gonna tell me
Hmm.
you spent all that time ranting and raving about me, about how I failed Grace.
Yeah.
I can't protect anybody.
Also
And now
true.
you're going to get on my case for protecting somebody.
Well,
that I should have let
you made
some-
a choice. You chose to protect Neville, and in doing so, endangered all the 4 of us and our goal of protecting or finding who killed Grace. So you made a choice. You certainly protected someone. You protected someone that none of us give a shit about. That's kind of the problem, Jax, is that you chose to protect a man named Neville who I met yesterday. And you killed an agent of an organization that is more powerful than most of us can conceptualize. They own Earth, Jaxper. Like, I've pissed
Alex?
off people
Who gives a
that
shit about
mine
Earth?
Jupiter.
Who gives a shit about Earth? Earth
they
doesn't
do.
give a shit about Earth. I
Also
don't give a
true.
shit about Earth.
They're
We
still
going to
rich and
Earth?
powerful. No, but they're on Mars. You know that. They fucking went to war with that planet, Jaxper.
Yeah.
I kind of
I-
won, sort of.
All right.
Ellis, if I may,
Go for it,
you
Chris.
you also agreed to carry out this contract, and the auditors were already looking for him anyway. We were always involved with the auditors, so
Our contract was to drive the man to Mars before they caught him, not to shoot 3 of them. That's
No,
like
we were
Jaxper
involved
pointed
with the
out.
auditors
That is a
anyway.
I'm gonna point out with you, and I'm gonna point out with you one other thing.
Go for it.
It's not like they show up and tell you, "Oh, hello, I am an auditor. Let me into that man's office because I
No.
should very much like to kill him." What they did was show up like a fucking thug,
Yes.
and
for-
so I threw hands,
also
as
fair.
one does, as is appropriate in that situation.
I'm
Turned
not
out
saying
he
you
was an
should.
auditor. I was fucked from the get-go.
I mean, that's fair. You get into
We
a
were
fist
fucked
fight with
from the
one, that's
get-go.
different.
Killing those 2 people was the only way out. There was the
see,
only way
now,
out.
but now you're talking about 2 different situations. Is what you're talking about. Is that the first one, from what I remember over the Bluetooth or over the radio, confronted you in a hallway to get to him. You got into a fight with him, and then did you find out he was an auditor after the fight or in the middle of the fight?
After. You dumb shit.
Are you sure? He didn't at any point say, "I'm an auditor and I'm going to go kill that guy."
He absolutely did not say that.
Okay,
that
that's
might
fair.
have happened.
So then, if you no, that's okay, Karis.
When did that
You got your
happen?
story.
When did
That's
that
fine.
happen?
He did
Uh,
kind of say, "You don't want to fuck with me.
Yeah.
This is Earth Coalition business."
If Della doesn't remember that, that's fine.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely do not remember
He
that.
did do that. He did
That's
actually
fine,
like
that's
after
fine.
you guys gotten into a fist
little
fight, like
bit.
say like, "Fuck off! I'm with your coalition. I'm gonna kill that guy."
People
which
say
is
all
something
kinds of stupid stuff to get you to stop hitting them.
that's fairly true. But again, if I remember, you resolved that one by knocking him unconscious, and then you dumped his unconscious, dying body into a fucking trash compactor after you sorted out that he was an auditor.
It was
Right?
a locker. It was a locker.
Okay, but he still died in that locker. You know that. Come on. I know you're not a medical doctor, but he's still dead.
He might
Then
not have.
That's probably
died.
better.
no, he's dead. Karis, he's dead. Then,
That's probably better for us long term.
is it?
Yeah, that's
don't-
3 less auditors chasing us.
Ooh, that
Nah, dude.
Yeah, we're not going to whittle down those numbers. That's not
So-
going to happen that way.
Look, all right, I get it. You
Look,
think we're bad at our
regardless,
jobs?
I'm trying to
Why-
push past this.
Fuck off.
That's all.
I'm out.
That's happened.
Fuck off.
That's
I'm out.
happened.
Go fuck yourself, Ellis.
Fuck
I'm gonna
you too,
go-
Jaxper. I hope you stay alive.
I'm gonna mark Storm and
Okay.
Storm out.
All right.
Totally fair.
And probably as I'm doing that, just be like, fuck off. I'm gonna like knock my drink
Slam
over.
your door.
I'm gonna like
Yeah.
knock my drink over as I leave.
Mhm,
Yeah, this is
mhm.
definitely kicked my hook, so I definitely have disadvantage going forward with like anything that happens
Yeah.
next. Of like, Jaxper is terrible at protecting people because from Ellis's perspective, like Jaxper made the choice of like the contract has more precedence than like the safety of the crew.
Well, it depends on your definition of protecting people,
Right.
right? Like he's a great
Exactly.
bodyguard.
Yeah, did a great job
Uh,
bodyguarding that asshole Neville.
No, and I mean, I think this is probably one of the first fights the two of you have had without Grace there to step in
Yeah,
and be like,
Oh, yeah,
both of you shut
100%.
the fuck up.
Yeah.
You're both
Right,
idiots.
you're
Go to your
both
rooms.
idiots.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you just lacking that sort of guiding voice at the moment.
there's no one here to be an adult.
Right,
Mm.
right. So that was more or less the debrief. There are a couple things that are going to happen that we've established during downtime. One is that Karis is going to try to contact Takamagahara. Let's see, what else do we have? I think like the next day, there's a time where Maeve, you were kind of just working away at the engine room trying to keep things in place. It's you're taking like 2 steps forward or like 1 step forward and 2 steps back with this, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
like every time, like it's working fine, but just staying on top of everything is kind of preventing you from making any headway.
Mm-hmm.
And you are sort of just working away at the engine, just trying to get things tightened that need to be tightened. You've got like your wrench around one such valve, and you're just kind of like you're sort of hesitant because you're worried that if you let up on the pressure, it's just gonna pop.
Mm.
And so you're just kind of like struggling with it, trying to get it into place. Every time you feel like you've got it locked, it starts to give again, and you're just kind of struggling with this. And you hear a voice from behind you, like sort of around the corner in the engine room as well, say, it's hard to imagine this is the life that she chose. And you look, and it's Rashawn Neville standing there. He's probably like ditched the suit jacket and like the tie and the vest and stuff. He's probably just wearing like a dress shirt and like slacks.
I'm imagining a Hawaiian shirt, to be honest.
It's definitely not that, but I appreciate the mental image.
Yeah. Maeve is like sort of half turning to glance at him while still trying to like hold the thing in place and just be like, "Oh, I don't think you're supposed to be here. There's a lot going. I'm pretty sure Alice told you not to come back here. You might wanna go."
I'm sorry, Maeve.
Did you need something?
Well, I didn't want to intrude. I get the impression that you were closest to this, and everyone's been somewhat tight-lipped. Her. She's a very dear friend. I was hoping to.
Oh, I mean, I don't know everything she got up to because, you know, but I've been here on the Nephilim with her since she got this up and flying again about 5 or so years back.
You know, she didn't often keep her. She must have special.
Oh, I mean, you know, she was a friend of my parents, so just kind of left into being ship mechanic, and well, no one can keep Nephilim flying like I can, so you know that was probably it. But yeah, I mean, gosh, I've only ever flown with Grace on the Nephilim.
You didn't grow up on a ship, but you're so familiar with them.
I mean,
I would have thought that would have been part of your childhood.
I mean, I was always running in and out of ships when they came to Mars to get fixed up. That's what my parents did there. But no, I didn't start flying until I signed on with Grace.
I didn't realize you were from Mars.
Mm-hmm. Born and raised.
I don't suppose you would know anyone back on your planet who could help someone disappear.
I mean, you know, Nephin Range is great for that, I hear.
Nephin Range, I'm not familiar.
It's where I grew up. A lot of people with colorful histories, shall we say, are the ones who settled in Nephin Range.
Well, it sounds like the ideal situation for someone in my position.
So when did you and Grace know each other? She never mentioned you.
I don't imagine she would. I don't know that she was proud of the time we spent together, necessarily. She was a formidable woman, capable, and as I showed you, she was in my employ for some time, protecting me. It was not a time in my life I'm particularly proud of. I think by extension, Grace felt similarly. But she kept me alive. There more than one situation that should have turned out otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, Grace was kind of the best at what she did, wasn't she?
I'd say so. Well, Nephin Range sounds as good a destination as any on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
You said it's where your parents live?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, just watching everybody else just so frustrated.
Well,
We already established, Maeve.
Just take him to your house, Maeve. Just
They're
drop him
working
off at your
together.
house.
Maeve trusts him. They're
Right.
co-workers now.
Throw him in the basement.
Introduce them to your mom. Introduce them to your mom. These are great
Hey,
people.
hey, Ellis never took the time to tell Maeve not to tell Rashawn stuff.
in Maeve's defense, you did exclude her from all of the meetings about how there were going to be auditors coming to kill you when you got to Mars.
This is what happened because Ellis is not a smart man. He's trying to protect someone, and his idea is, well, just don't tell her anything. There's no way she can get into trouble.
You know who is a smart man, unfortunately.
God damn it!
Yeah, he says, well, I would feel much more comfortable placing my life in your parents' hands than I would in the hands of strangers. So, thank you for that, Maeve. I hope to be out of your hair soon.
And on that note, like I said, you might want to.
Of course. I don't want to overstep my bounds.
I've just been holding this, but this could bust at any second, and that's probably a dangerous situation to let you be around. So you should.
I appreciate your concern for my safety. I suppose you're more like Grace than either of us knew.
Oh, wait, I have a solution to the... Okay, alright. Wait, I said that because I just thought about it, not because it was relevant to the conversation.
Alright, fair enough.
We already asked Rashawn if he knew who Michael was, right?
You did, yeah, and he was like, Michael who, that's a very common name. And you were like, well...
Indeed.
But yeah, he basically just like sort of nods to you and says, well, I appreciate the conversation, Maeve, and the information. I'll leave you to it. And he removes himself.
Now that I've completely undermined the rest of the crew's plans.
Now that we're all doomed.
And he would.
I'm just glad it's somebody else other than what I'm really curious about is how is Ellis going to turn this around to become Jacksper's fault again?
It's going to be.
Oh yeah, because it's already your fault.
It's already my fault. We have a very, very clear golden child scapegoat dynamic going on right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm also taking advantage of that because Karis flies under the radar by throwing you under the bus.
Oh yeah.
Or just stepping out of the way when Ellis
100%
starts pushing
this
the
is
bus.
a deeply dysfunctional family.
Very clear.
I'm sitting in my actual professional office right now, like looking at some books, right, and just being like,
I have some books that Ellis needs to read.
Also never seek professional help, and
how to talk to your
and
child.
we both know this.
You look back there, and you can almost see him there on that couch.
Yeah.
Almost.
Take a seat, Ellis.
But anyway, so
tell me about your mom, Ellis.
That night, the following night at meal time, that's when Rashawn would so probably in the middle of your dining be like, so I realize this hasn't come up as a subject of discussion, but Maeve was kind enough to appraise me of Nephin Range on Mars as a settlement that would benefit my disappearing once we reach Mars.
How much about Nephilim Range did Maeve tell you about, sir?
Well, I would feel most comfortable placing my safety in the hands of our parents. They sound like lovely people, and I'm afraid I don't know. I'm afraid I don't know many people on Mars, so it seems the safest route.
Sure.
Maeve spoke very highly of them.
Oh, they're excellent people. Yep. Definitely. Yeah.
I will definitely help you disappear.
Oh, God.
Yes. No, I like that idea. Karis
We're all very, very invested.
we are
Listen.
very invested in you just, fading into the,
Dirt.
shadows. What?
Well, that's-
Shadows, right, Karis? Shadows, you man.
Yes,
That's a bit of a
shadows.
turn of phrase. He
Nice.
gets mixed up with his idioms. He doesn't quite know.
I'm not from here.
Right.
Well, that's my desire as well. So
Yes. No, we're all deeply, deeply, deeply invested in no one ever meeting you again. Anyway.
Yeah.
then it's-
Why? What was your plan? If what was your plan?
Yeah. Who were you
if
going to
we weren't-
contact?
if we weren't going to go to
Yeah.
Nephilim Range? If we weren't going to go to
there are larger
If you didn't-
settlements, and there is an undesirable element in some of those settlements. I mean, Mars is the independent planet, so plenty of people go there to
Sure.
disappear, but they would be strangers.
Does larger settlement sound like a
yeah,
good
yeah,
plan
that's
to you?
actually, no, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with your second favorite option.
I also agree with Jaxper. I think that Maeve's parents, while they are lovely people, are also deeply unfamiliar with the needs that you might require as far as disappearances and
well,
avoiding the Earth Coalition, which is, a vastly powerful organization that they're not overly familiar with. Isn't that
That's-
right, Maeve?
That's directly contradictory to what Maeve was telling me about her parents' work and the effort that they've gone into in setting up Nephilim Range as a haven for people with nowhere else to go and a desire to live the rest of their lives out in
Well,
peace.
So how about
Well,
this?
gosh,
How
Maeve
about this? We'll
was
drop you
deeply
in a
detailed
city, and
when
you
she
can make your way to
was-
Method Range. We're not making contacts for you, but we'll drop you in the dust, and you can walk.
I mean, we're
Afraid
probably going to
that's-
go there whenever we get to Mars
Shut
ourselves,
up,
right?
Maeve.
Maeve,
What?
I appreciate your
Hey, Maeve,
forthrightness.
do you remember? Actually, you know what? I feel like I'm probably more of an impediment in this particular proceedings. Maeve, why don't you go show me how to fix that thing in the engine room? Let's
That's an excellent
go.
idea, Jaxper.
And
Why
Jackson's
don't
gonna
you
like
go
grab you by the arm.
learn a thing?
Damn, Jack, what the hell?
Maeve, go to the engine room, please.
How far out are we from Mars?
Just a few days. Although there is an impending incident that's going to happen because Maeve rolled a 4 on the check for the Ringate navigation.
Is
So
this the moment that happens? Is this the
Not
moment
to make a call
everything
on
goes
your
wrong?
behalf.
it's
I
not-
don't-
I do think this would be like the perfect moment for that to happen. Is like
Okay.
as Maeve and Jaxper step
Yeah,
away,
yeah.
and Ellis goes to correct the record.
Right.
Shit just goes sideways.
Yeah, I'm very into that idea. So you all step back into you two step back into the engine room, and you're basically just arguing with each other. Jaxper's kind of just flying off
Yeah.
the handle, and
Right.
that valve that you were desperately trying to tighten earlier that you thought you
I'm gonna mark
finally
some more
got into
storm,
place.
by the way.
Okay, fair enough. The valve that you thought you finally had like gotten exactly into place pops.
Oh no!
It basically just blows and everything starts like the lights start winking and you kind of have to leap into action just to keep everything running, but it does have the unintended consequence of basically dropping you out of the ring gate guidance system.
Yeah.
So you can sort of like navigate your way out of, because there's relatively large stretches of distance between ring gates, right? So without the navigation system, basically the best you can do is just kind of steer yourself out of that path of magnetic propulsion, and into like regular space where you'll kind of drift to a stop of your own free whatever. But yeah, you can basically remove yourself from the ring gate so it's not suicide. And I assume Karis
Which
basically
Paris is
goes
what
to.
will do, yeah.
I'm assuming Karis runs to do that as soon as the lights start flickering overhead, and Rashawn like looks up and says, "Oh, here's our discussion. We'll have to wait."
Yeah, you're gonna have to strap down right now because this is gonna get weird.
He does so. The whole place starts just immediately just starts rattling and behaving oddly.
Yeah.
Even more so than it normally does. And Jaxper, I think you probably just have to like hold on for dear life. But Maeve, yeah, you immediately like leap into action and start trying to get things back to the point where they were.
I imagine that Jack Spur is like trying to help, or it's just like following orders.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Even if it's just Maeve being like, hold these two things together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm also just
Karis,
gonna strap in the cockpit. Like
Yeah.
I'm just going with Karis. I know that like I can't help, but like that's got the best seats and it's the
Mhm.
safest. So like,
Karis, yeah, you leap into the pilot seat, and you manage to basically just like steer the ship out of the way of the ring gate network, and basically just off into space itself. So you guys kind of just go careening out off to the side, out of the lane, and the ship starts to drift. You manage to get control of the emergency situation. It is not as bad as when they basically just like fired a shotgun directly into your engine room, but it is gonna, like, you can repair this, but it's gonna take you a little more time to repair it. And
Everything is on fire, and
in
everything
the
is
aftermath, as things are starting to quiet down a little bit after the ship, the momentum stills because you're not under propulsion anymore. Rashawn sort of pokes his head into the cockpit and says, "Oh, I suppose we'll be experiencing some delays."
yeah, you could say that. This is somewhat of the consequence of fleeing an interplanetary security agency.
I'm just glad no one was hurt.
Yet. I'd get back to your cabin, sir. We are not safe yet.
Fair enough. Yep, he removes himself from that situation. So, Maeve, you're pretty much working on getting things back up and running. You will be able to, and you'll just resume your journey, but this is going to put you behind schedule just a little bit. Karis, with this time on your hands, are you trying to reach out to Takamagahara?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright.
I am gonna take some time to like recoup. Recoup in my cabin.
Okay. So you are not currently linked with a ring gate, and you are not on a like settled planet, which means you don't have access to the net. You have access to the link, which is that very stripped down version. So you can send a pre-recorded message back to Takamagahara, and then they will have to send you a recorded message back once they've like received it and recorded, etc.
What if I wait for us to get to Mars, and I'm assuming my organization would probably already have a plant or something there.
Hard to say. I mean, you'd definitely be able to reach out to them. All you need is a connection. Right now, just in
Okay.
space, you can
So
really
I'll
only
wait till we
send
get to
data
Mars.
packets. Okay. Yeah. In space, you
Okay.
can really only send these like packets of data back and forth, and that's why the communication is so much more limited.
Okay. So yeah, I'll wait until for Mars.
Okay. Cool. So you want to wait till
Is
Mars?
it safe to say I've learned my new move?
Yeah, definitely. Did you already decide what you want to take?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
gonna help us solve our Neville problem.
Ooh. I mean, I don't know if you're. Are you gonna poison him? Is it the poison one?
No.
Okay. Are you sure?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
You can do that. I just want to point out you have not gotten paid.
Right. Which is why I can choose a time duration.
I just like the idea of Karis takes. I wasn't even looking at the infiltrator sheet of just like Karis takes secret murder.
It's not what he's
but
doing.
yeah, I would like to wait until our final family dinner.
So, okay, we'll get to that. So here's my thought about the poison move. Right, given that all of your other infiltrator stuff is nanobot flavored, kind of like the idea that you're not so much actually creating poisons, you're putting nanobots into people's bodies with like, and then like later just like activating them.
Yeah.
Like sleepers. Yeah. Dell's not a fan.
Robo poison.
This is sort of like Jaxper's nanobots are like, that's fucked up. That's fucked.
Yeah.
Why would you? That's so
Yeah.
fucked up. That's so fucked up.
I really like the idea that like Jaxper's nanobots are just kind of agoraphobic and are just like, outside? No, thank you.
Ooh. No, like while this is
Jaxper's
all
nanobots
happening,
have
Jaxper's
zero subtlety.
in his room having a conversation with his nanites, like, you be a knife? And they're like, why would we do that?
Yeah.
No.
You mean go outside?
Go be a knife that goes into someone else?
Gross, disgusting. Have you seen other people? Yeah. So I like the idea that maybe you were just instructing some of your nanobots to go into Rashawn Neville's body. And
Yeah,
we
I mean,
can
that's
call that-
under your options here, because you get to choose
Yeah.
effect, duration, enhancement, and delivery
Yeah.
method. And one of them is just, it picks a person.
Yep. So I think that's very fair. Cool. Okay, so you have that in place. You have sent a message to Jakamagahara. What does it say? What are you sending back home?
I'm in a more complicated situation now, and I could use some cleanup.
Are you giving details, or are you just sort of leaving it vague and then waiting for them to reply?
Auditor complications, definitely mentioning auditor complications.
Okay. Interesting.
Also, are you guys frozen, or is that just me?
Oh, I think that might just be you. Everybody
it's
else
just-
looks
Yeah.
good on stream. Sorry.
No, I had a little glitch
Oops.
too. I don't know what
Okay.
happened.
Shockingly, everything's been good on my end, which, given the last time we streamed this game, is remarkable.
Why did you say that? You just cursed us.
Don't curse yourself. Well, there's only, yeah. It's okay.
We got
We'll make
40
it.
minutes left. We'll be all right.
We'll make it.
40-ish minutes. So yeah, that most of your time, we'll do downtime now, right? So if you're trying to get rid of stress, the best way to do that is to have like a meaningful, caring moment with another person. You can, where's that thing? There it is. Spend time getting closer to a crew member. You can each choose to heal one stress or have advantage going forward. And that doesn't necessarily need to be role played out. It can just be like something that we say takes place. If it's suitably dramatic or cool, I would say we should role play it out, but we don't have to.
I think Karis and
Yeah,
Jaxper have to have a conversation.
Okay.
absolutely.
So we'll just for time's sake, we'll just place this like that night of you've kind of both been dancing around each other, and like the night of the breakdown when the Nephilim started to have issues again. As you're just sort of floating, Maeve is like on like 48 hours of nonstop work, trying to just keep this ship from breaking down irreparably. Where do you two do it?
I guess I just go knock on Jaxper's quarters.
We did also establish last time that sometimes Jaxper just hangs out in the cockpit with Karis.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
probably
maybe you
at
come
some
in
point-
for like an annoying
Yeah.
little brother moment.
Yeah, so probably at some point you take off that helmet that lets you pilot the ship, and Jaxper's just like sitting there playing his Game Boy, playing on his phone.
Yeah. I don't
So
know
we
you're
had
there.
not-
I
we had
take it
not made-
off, and I'm just like, oh,
Well,
God.
so remember the ship is piloted pretty regularly. The VR interface thing is for the arms, the grappler arms.
Yeah,
just
but I think
keep it on
we
for the-
established before that Karis also just wears that, so he
Yes.
doesn't have to talk to people.
Yeah, that is also true. I forgot about that detail. You're right.
I take it off, and I'm startled. I asked you to stop doing that.
Yeah, but we gotta have a conversation.
About that.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't mention any of what you saw me do to everybody else. How do you feel about that?
I feel really good about that, provided that goes both ways. That you don't mention anything I did maybe to anybody else, they don't think they noticed the lack of gunshot wound.
Somewhere Ellis
Right.
is just like,
Yes, that. Um, does this trigger my hook with Jaxper?
I mean, it definitely could. The way that hooks usually work is that, like, if it comes into play, you just take disadvantage to a roll. So if you end up rolling in this scene, if your hook comes into play, you think, then yeah, you would give yourself disadvantage on it. But you can also decide that
Okay.
like hooks. So the way that hooks tend to work is it's basically a complication or something that makes your character's life more difficult. If that is something that would affect your character, then you roll with disadvantage, which increases the chance that you fail, which increases your opportunity to get an XP. But you can also just as easily say, this does complicate my character's life, but they power through it, right? They decide this isn't the time or the place, and they don't let it get to them. And then you can roll without disadvantage, but you're less likely to get an XP.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
the way
if
that it works.
Jackson and I are both... okay, sweet. Then I guess it doesn't have to apply because Jax doesn't really want to expose any of that either.
For what?
Can I fish out the nanoblade that I took from the first auditor and hand it over to Jax?
If you want to.
Yeah. Is it something? Is it control? Is this a thing controlled? This is not a thing controlled by nanites. It's just a super fine. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Jaxper will accept it.
So yeah, I'm handing that over as kind of like a, all right, your secret's safe with me as long as mine is safe with yours. Here's like a token of a bargain well struck.
Who?
I'm freezing pretty bad.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah, you are.
I can still hear you.
Okay. Let me try to get out and back in real quick.
Okay. I may have to move some
Okey-dokey.
people around. We're almost done, also. So.
Yeah.
It's because you
It's what
said
hasn't
something,
made
Will.
him.
It's your fault.
It literally is. You literally were like, "Why would you say that?" And then I said, "Okay, just got to move you two around." That should. Is that better for you? Okay. Cool.
So with the understanding that none of that this conversation isn't happening and it's all about stuff that never happened, who made you?
I don't think I'm ready to disclose that. Yeah, I don't think Karis is ready to like talk about that just yet.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. That's fair. You know. Cool. I think at that point Jaxper is gonna like awkwardly just like get up and like leave with the knife.
All right. Yeah, I just awkwardly put the helmet back on without saying anything else.
Okay. Very cool.
I'm just here to make everyone's lives just a little bit more uncomfortable.
Everyone on the ship is a perfectly reasonable, capable human.
Yes.
So good at it.
Healthy.
Now I'm just hiding like more secrets. Like, yeah, nanites are a secret. The whole Taka thing is a secret. I'm just swimming in
Jaxper is
them.
a secret.
Well, it's only episode 2. We wouldn't want the secrets to be done already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you have so you two did that. Do you both want to clear stress? Do you both have stress to clear? Okay.
Yes.
Maeve, are you doing a downtime? Or are you pretty busy?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm working to try to make sure we keep things
Mm-hmm.
up
Yeah.
and running.
I guess you don't really have a personal project right now unless you want to have one. But I would say that like between working on the ship, you could try to make progress on a personal project, and mark a tick on the timer for that. But yeah, I don't know that there's really anything right now. I think that's probably the only one that would make sense because as far as I know, you don't have a grievance or disagreement with any crew members yet. And I don't know that you would spend time getting closer to anyone. Fair enough. Okay. So Maeve is pretty much just doing that. Is Ellis doing anything downtimey?
So it's not a downtimey thing, I guess specifically. Jaxper and I have had another grievance and disagreement that has slightly altered that hook, but it's not something that needs to be handled via downtime. I do think that I would put a tick towards a personal project. I don't know specifically how I do it, but there is one that is an overarching one, which is solving the mystery of Grace's particular situation. Who is, employing these people to have hunted down our captain?
Right. And you did get at least one lead from this adventure,
right.
which is that she used to be security for a crime boss.
Right. And then so whatever I could do during that downtime to like progress another tick on that track.
Okay.
We can work that out. Like we can sort all the details of that out, but that would be what Ellis would be spending his time doing, because the specifics of like keeping Neville away from Maeve's parents, we're just gonna have to sort that out on fucking Mars at this point. Ellis is also kind of on the Jaxper train of, I guess he dies. Like it wasn't my first choice, but if he's gonna go fucking with Maeve's parents, all right, well, can't have that. Really only care that he fixed the ship, less interested in the money that he has, more interested in, flying and not. Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't get to fuck around with Maeve's parents.
Well,
yeah, you also are not telling any of us about that, but I'm not against it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So to be clear, the way that this would work mechanically is like when you finish a contract, you get to roll the move where you get paid. Right. And one of the options you can pick when you roll the move to get paid is you make the necessary repairs to your ship.
Right.
He basically funded the repairs that got the ship flying again.
Right.
But the ship is going to be it's going to continue to have the same issues. Like basically it can get you to Mars, but without the payday from this, you don't know that you'd be able to get it flying again.
100%. No, I understood that too. But again, like we're making choices, right? Like it's the difference between I'm going to, kill him to prevent this damage, or I'm going to let him pay us and like whatever.
Cool. It's a rough choice. I totally understand. But yeah, after about another full 24 hours of work, so you basically like were on the gate flying for a couple days. This happened, and it's been about another day since the ship, since the system went down, that Maeve is able to bring it back online, back up and running, and you can resume your journey to Mars. And from there, I think you're maybe in flight for another day, and then you pop out of the ring gate. It alerts you. The automated system pops on with a voice overhead and says, "Thank you for using the rail network." Or I'm sorry, no, it'd say, "Thank you for using the ring network. You've arrived as close as your destination as possible." And yeah, sure enough, your cockport view, the viewports in the cockpit.
I really like the word cockport now.
No, hold on. Just gonna do a quick.
I'm gonna use that.
Euphemism.
I'm gonna use that in a time that you're gonna really regret.
I bet
It's gonna be great.
So
that phrase exists now, 100%.
So out of the cockpit viewports, you see the large red orb of Mars filling the view. Maeve, you are. I imagine you might be in the cockpit for this moment. Just like it's been a while since you've been home.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get back on Mars, see my folks, which is totally where we're flying to, right?
Definitely, 100%.
Directly
right to your dad's house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yup.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think Neville probably wanted to be there too when you first see Mars. So he is
That's
like,
fine.
well,
He can be in the cockpit.
okay, all right, cool.
As
You,
Karis
didn't
hates
Karis-
this. You guys are all way too close
There's
to me.
people. Why are there
Yeah.
people in your
Right.
cockpit? In your cockport?
stop.
Stop saying cockport.
No one's in my cockport yet.
Why is this happening?
You made it. You invented it.
Yeah,
You did
I think
this.
it's just, you did this to you, friend.
yeah, technically true.
Anyway, there's a bunch of us up there in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna land in whatever the closest major urban center is to the region of
So
Maeve's
that's-
parents, because Maeve's parents are out in like the Badlands, right? They're like,
Well, that's the thing. That's a little tricky. Is that
Yeah.
there are settlements on Mars, and there are some large settlements on Mars, but none of them are particularly close to each other. And
Good.
specifically, Nephin Range is pretty far away from all of them because they
Good.
wanted the privacy. So
Because it's basically a bunch of smugglers
right,
who've gone straight.
honestly,
Like
by
more
this
than
point,
20 hours, would you say?
maybe honestly, by this point, I would say Nephin Range is actually probably on the larger side of settlements on Mars because we did sort of establish it as Space Tortuga.
Oh, right.
so there's not like a space. I don't know the age of sail well enough. There's not like another like larger scale Martian city for the traders and people that are selling algae or whatever. Like,
A Space England.
yeah,
I mean,
we need a space Jamaica. Where's space Jamaica?
Space Jamaica. I
Yeah.
mean, there are other settlements on Mars. It's just Nephin Range is sort of specific, like very intentionally far away from them.
But it's not like a city, right? It's not like a township that's big. I
Have
thought it was
we
like,
have we established that we've impressed upon Maeve how bad a goddamn idea it is to let this man around her parents?
I don't know. Nobody talked to her during downtime.
No one has bothered to establish that they did that.
Yeah, and I guess he
Because
doesn't
that's
have
something
to
that Jax
know.
would absolutely do. Like as soon as the engine was no longer exploding, it
Right.
would be a
Yeah, because you were dragging her off to have that conversation in the first place.
we cannot do that.
Do what?
Let him now around your parents.
What? I thought the whole point was we were supposed to be helping this guy disappear. Who else is going to help make him disappear besides
No,
the
no,
place
no.
that is known on Mars for like the black market and making people like disappear with fake stuff?
it is
Is
not our
Karis
job to make him
here?
disappear. It's our job to be a taxi service
We're
and
gonna-
bodyguards. By doing that, we already braided this motherfucker into our lives in a dangerous and upsetting way.
I mean, he used
I
to work
hate
with Grace.
How correct Ellis is about this. Do you have any idea how insane that makes me? Oh, I'm mad. But, like, he's right. You want that weasel in your family? Around
I mean,
your family?
he's paid for everything like he said he would so far.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he paid. Yeah. Look, do you want assassins to show up at your parents' house?
What are you talking about, assassins?
The people we
boy.
were
Think-
protecting him from were
Okay.
3 Earth Coalition assassins.
Wait, like you actually ran into them when we were still back on the ring?
Why do you think we were running? It wasn't normal security. If it was normal security, it'd have been all like, oh, we don't know what's going on. No. They were legit assassins. This man is wanted by extremely dangerous people. And they're gonna already be trying to kill me and probably Karis. We don't need them after your family too.
Do you think they like might have beaten us to Mars? Like we did have a whole day where we were just like downtime. If they hopped in a ship right after, they could have beaten us to Mars.
You know what? That is a very distressing possibility that you have brought up, and a realistic scenario. So, no. Taking him to your parents' house is leading assassins to your front door, and understand, I am really, really tough and hard to hurt, and I'm really good at hurting things, and holy crap, they hit really hard, and they're really hard to hit, and you do not want to mess with them. You don't want to mess with them. You don't want your parents to have to mess with them, because I'm talking anti-tank weapon.
Okay, fine. Then where are we gonna go on Mars instead?
I don't know, but as far as I'm concerned, we stick him in an EVA suit and huck him out an airlock as soon as possible, and let him figure out his
Seems
own
unlikely
way
he'd
out.
pay the second half of the contract if we do that.
We could put him in the good EV. We could put him in the good EVA suit. We'll put him in the good one. The one with the automatic chute that deploys if he gets pulled into the gravity well. We'll put him in that one. That'll work better. Because then he'll be delivered to the surface of Mars, and he will be contractually obligated to pay us. I don't care how he gets to the surface of Mars. Once his boots hit red dust, he needs to be out of our lives. And the fact that he can go already to your parents and say, "Well, I knew your daughter, lovely lady," blah, 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 is already putting your parents up in the unacceptable.
It's not even what he sounds like.
That's 100% what he sounds like.
He just sounds,
Jasper's impression is dead to rights.
he's a sleazy car salesman in a Hawaiian shirt, is what I'm picturing.
100%.
I love that he's canonically in like the nicest clothes you've
Yeah,
ever
he's a very
seen.
well
But
put
the
together
Karis's
man.
impression is that he's
Yeah.
like a slimy dude. in a shit
He
shirt.
wears like suits and stuff. He's got a very fancy haircut. He's
Okay,
got
but it's a
straight.
cream suit. It's a cream colored suit.
All right.
It's velour.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Cool.
So I don't know what you're gonna need to do to tell this guy, "Oh no, my parents are not able to do this thing for you. Turns out that they've got the Martian scurvy and they can't have you in the house. They're in quarantine." Whatever it is you have to say to make him think it's a bad idea to go there, you gotta say it. Because otherwise I'm
Okay.
gonna have to go up there and look like the asshole, and I'm happy, which I am 100% happy to do, and just tell him, "No, fuck off, touch her parents, and I will do you harm."
Oh, that's kind of sweet, Jaxper.
Okay, cool. So, at a certain point, and maybe it's while these conversations are happening, this might be parallel, we're using kind of a flashback system here. As you are coming down on Mars at an indeterminate location, we're kind of flashing back to some other conversations that have taken place right before this. And I think on this particular one, it's going to be there's going to be a knock on the solid metal of Ellis's door late one evening, probably the night before you reach Mars.
Come on.
Yeah, the
Like
door
Alice isn't used to anyone
Right.
knocking on the door. Like,
Right,
what?
right. The door slides open, and Rashawn is on the other side.
Can I help you, sir?
I was hoping we might have a word, Mr. Maldonado.
Sure. These quarters, I'm assuming, are very small. It's like bed, desk,
Yes.
nothing else in there.
Yes.
So
Very,
I'm like,
very
all
small.
right. I mean, grab a nightcap out in the cafeteria, I guess.
Sure. He would actually say, like, this will be fine. I won't take long, and just sort of step in and let the door close behind him.
Yeah, all right. Alice's response to that is, fine.
he kind of looks around your room and idly and says, I'd like to take the opportunity to apologize to you.
Oh, well, that's not a kind.
It was never my intention to put your crew in any situations as dangerous as this one. I fully expected...
Oh, you mean involve us in the murder of multiple auditors? Yes, I also agree that was not part of the original contract as stated.
In my defense, at no point did I tell anyone to murder an Earth Coalition auditor.
Well, in our defense, the alternative would be that you'd be dead right now. So it does seem that you would prefer the one over the other, I would assume.
Oh, by preference, absolutely, but my preference notwithstanding, I am sorry for the trouble this has caused. When I saw Nephilim, I figured I would approach my old friend with open arms and ask for her help, and I fully believe she would have given it because that's the type of person Grace was.
I don't necessarily think you're wrong about that. I don't know that she would have made the choices that Jaxper or Karis made in defending your life so fervently. At least the Grace I know had gotten past that point. I am to understand that was once her particular job as relating to you, but I don't know that she'd be so disposed.
She always found a way, didn't she?
That is certainly one way of putting it. She was a capable and creative problem solver.
Mr. Maldonado, in addition to apologizing, I want to take the opportunity to make my position abundantly clear.
Your position on what?
I have no intention of reporting back to the Earth Coalition, and I have no intention of being killed by Earth Coalition auditors. But I fully understand...
I would assume not.
But I fully understand that it is not your intention or the intention of the majority of your crew, perhaps Maeve notwithstanding. She's a sweet girl. I fully understand.
That's a really hard look. Like, I can't even give the look that gets out of him. Yeah. When he says the word Maeve, it's like, oh, okay.
But I fully understand it is not your intention to see our deal finished in good faith.
Oh, I have not made that decision yet, to be honest. I mean, your money spends, and we could use it to fix a ship. And frankly, if I thought that we could divest ourselves, perfectly from you, and you could retain all of the enmity of the Earth Coalition on your own shoulders, I would have no problem with that. But you understand the position we're in now is that we are a conspiratorial unit as far as the Coalition is concerned. So them hunting you means them hunting me, and specifically Jaxper and Karis, who are parts of this crew. So believe me, sir, if you have an alternative solution to that problem, I would be more than happy to hear it, because I'd much rather deal with you than the Coalition. The Coalition are, to put it mildly, stubborn and unreasonable. You seem to possess a great deal of self-sufficiency and, desire to survive, I guess. And again, I'm much easier to deal with than the Earth Coalition. So if you have solutions, I'd be happy to hear.
How much do you know about your crewmates, Jaxper and Karis?
I would say not enough, but more than you.
It wasn't hard to put together who they are and where they came from, given some things that I saw out in the fields. Just like it wasn't hard to find what brings you out here into the depths of space, Mr. Maldonado. And this is not a threat. I want to be clear.
It's not? That's interesting. It certainly comes across as one, and you're on my ship. And from what I just heard, it sounds like the three of us are pretty dangerous, and you've been doing some poking. And I don't remember that being a part of the agreement either.
Well, I want you to understand I want you to understand our positions, but my purpose in bringing this up is that they have powerful friends.
Oh, you mean Jaxper and Karis?
I do.
You don't mean in fact, you don't have powerful friends?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
looking back on taking a look through the active registry of wanted individuals on the link during our journey, there are no calls for either of them. There are no open contracts for anyone matching their description, and it is my wholehearted belief that these powerful friends that they have taken steps to ensure that their part in what took place on that Ringgate station remains unknown.
Well, you'll forgive me, but I'm not particularly familiar with the coalition putting open call out on people. When auditors got a problem, that's an auditor problem. Auditors is a solution to that problem. They don't tend to pick up open bounties on that, at least from my experience, and my experience is not inconsiderable. So you're right, that's a possibility. It's possible that Jaxper called up his daddy and, got a lot of problems sorted out, but I think it's also possible that the auditors think that they've got this well in hand, and they're not so worried about you, or Jaxper, or Karis, or little old me. And that instead, they're waiting guns drawn on Mars to bear down on all of us.
I wasn't
How's that
necessarily
for an auditor?
I wasn't necessarily referring to the auditors. Tranquility has also not placed any open contracts, despite the fact that your crewmates gunned down multiple people in plain view.
Oh, you mean the ring gates? Yeah, again, that's an auditor problem. And if you don't think that the Earth Coalition has authority over the ring gates, I mean, you're as familiar as I am with that kind of thing. Again, I assume that they're not going to be wanting to put it out too broadly, that we're to be killed on sight.
So to be totally clear, they don't have jurisdiction over the Ringates, technically.
Right, I understand that. What I'm saying is that,
yeah.
Ellis is familiar with how broadly powerful the Earth Coalition is. So my assumption as a character is, yeah, the reason that stuff's not falling up on the bounty board is because they're not asking for assholes like me to go solve it. There's going to be 50 fucking auditors on Mars ready to kill us as soon as they see any of us.
You could be right, Mr. Maldonado.
I could be. I'm not saying that they don't necessarily have interesting histories. I don't, like I said, know much about them. If you wanted to share more that you discovered, I wouldn't be uninterested in hearing your theories.
It's certainly a risk. But it's a risk that I'm going to have to ask you to take.
What is a risk, specifically?
Delivering me safely to Mars as our contract dictated.
Oh, I was planning on getting you on the soil. That's never been out of my mind. One, partially because, as stated, it's part of the contract. Two, because we got nowhere else to go, really. And three, because I think it's my best opportunity getting you in front of a crowd of people and openly saying, fuck this asshole, I don't want anything to do with him. I really don't have any other ideas of how to avoid, the auditors concluding that you and I are in literal cooperation, because, we are.
It sounds like we understand one another, but you'll forgive me my insurance policy. To ensure that upon delivery to Mars, nothing befalls me at your hands.
And what would that be?
The information that I have acquired about yourself, Jaxper, Karis, currently is in the hands of an associate of mine.
Ah, I see.
Without,
you're doing the whole, I'm going to release data onto the internet, and I know press people and all that kind of fun stuff.
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this.
Well, I mean, you brought it here. Why are you hoping it didn't come to this?
I was hoping it would
be a simple, the damn train.
I was hoping it would be a simple contract, but it's become clear to me in my time among your fellows that delivery to Mars may happen, but what follows after.
Forgive me, you're talking very calmly, and I understand that you're in deep control of the situation and all that's great, but you were under the impression that running from the Earth Coalition auditors on the Ringgate system to Mars was going to be a simple contract? That was your concept?
The delivery?
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, you'll forgive me if I think that you're an idiot, because that's just about the dumbest thing I've ever heard a motherfucker say to me is, oh man, I'm just going to escape the auditors to Mars. You didn't think that was going to take more than 4 assholes on a half-broken ship?
Well, What happens upon arriving to Mars is my problem, not your problem.
Sure, you could phrase it that way. You've made it our problem. You have involved us in your problem, and as both of us are familiar, the auditors consider it our problem. So, again, simple. That's an interesting interpretation.
I regret that this is the conversation that we ended up having, Mr. Maldonado, and
I don't know how you thought it was going to go elsewise, bud. Did you think I was going to hear all this and go, oh no, sir, I'm so terrified. Please don't tell other people that I used to blow up unionists. Like, bud, I'm being openly chased by auditors right now. They want to kill me. You want to tell other people I'm a bad guy. Which of those two things do you think is more terrifying to me?
I'm making an effort to respect your crewmates' privacy in the hope that none of this come to pass. But believe me,
I hope that too.
Believe me when I say that the people who would be after them, the people that would be on your trail, should this information come to light, make the auditors look like Ringgate security.
Well, now that's terrifying. Who the fuck is after them? He's kind of buried the lead on that one. You didn't tell me that part.
Well, let's pray you never find out.
I suppose. Again, do you have a better option? Because again, I think you're not fully thinking this through. You can go to ground on Mars, but you don't know anyone there. And you can certainly try and threaten us with the threat of hurting Maeve's parents. But again, we're just four assholes on a half-broken spaceship. So yes, while Jaxper would love nothing more than to cave your fucking head in, he's really not that dangerous to you, or that threatening. Again, you're on the run from auditors, who are dangerous and will kill you if given the opportunity. Do you have a solution for that problem for the both of us, for all of us? That's what I'm asking. You've just threatened me so that I don't shoot you dead as soon as you step off the ship. Fair. Again, four assholes. Do you have a better solution for the entire might of the Secret Service of the Earth Coalition bearing down upon you? I would love to hear it. I'd love to be part of that solution so that I also am not killed by Earth Coalition auditors. That'd be great. Would love that.
I'm afraid the best I can say, Ellis. Do you mind if I call you Ellis?
I do terribly, but go on.
Is that the associations you have with your crew members, they will keep you safe from Earth Coalition auditors.
Once again, you're a man of horrifying mysteries, and I don't know if you know just how awful it makes you. So given we've played this very above the book, at this point, Ellis is so sick of this dickhead pretending like he's in charge, is we're gonna go back to that lovely hound move that I love so well. No, it's time for you to be more intimidated by me than I am by you.
Now, if I recall correctly, you have disadvantage on this because of your hook.
Ew! You're right. Because I was recently in a big argument with my friend Jasper.
You're right.
It's so great, though. So that's 13.
It is. That is very good.
So he gets to pick two.
Yeah.
His options are shut up immediately, stop moving, lower his weapon, do something stupid or reckless, or hesitate, stumble, or mutter. They're on the Hound Tree if you want to look them up.
Okay. He's going to shut up immediately. He's going to react to
like this glare. Startles him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to react to your glare and take a step back and kind of like find his back against the metal of the door. And he's going to slip up, I think. And he's going to say,
yeah, because this is Ellis like stands up. I didn't see that like cleaning something, and now it's like, okay, I think this conversation has come to a conclusion.
Right. Okay. This is tricky, actually. Let me pull up your thing.
Yeah, it is page 8.
Page 8. Cool. That is helpful.
Steely glare.
Wait, not the thing. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. Signature move, Steely Glare. There we go. They choose 2. So yeah, he shuts up immediately, and he's going to lower his weapons proverbially. He does not have like a gun pulled on you or anything, but he is going to shut up immediately, and he's going to say, I don't want for us to be enemies.
Good night, Mr. Neville. You have a safe evening.
I love this.
He hesitates, ducks his head in an approximation of a nod, and leaves.
Rather than Jaxper, because he's less, like, I'm less surprised that Jaxper isn't on anyone's radar. Like, as far as I understand, Jaxper is like, I don't know, the kid stole trains and sold them. Like, I don't fucking know what the kid did. But more surprised by the Karis.
Another bar, you know?
Right, exactly. Like, as far as I know, you used to, like, fight in underground clubs and, like, I don't know. But Karis, as far as Ellis knows, is like, that's just a Union pilot. Like, what the fuck did Karis do? So that's the note that Alice is taking away from that, is that, like, what the fuck is going on with Karis? Like, that's a strange note for this guy to have pushed on me. Like, yeah, I know the shit I've done, and I know Jaxper's a problem. He's been a problem. But Karis has big friends? Strange.
Fuck.
We're just about out of time for this session. In fact, we're pretty much exactly out of time for this session. So the last thing I want us to do is, Karis, you are, the last flashback we're going to do is you touch down on Mars. Karis, you received right before this, maybe like literally 15 minutes before you got the alert that you were coming out of the ring gate. You were in your room, and you have a data pad. It's nothing super special. Most people do. It's basically just like a miniature computer that you can bring around with you to work on. It's different from a handheld, but it's basically just a larger version of that. Yours is special because it was issued to you, and it has hidden software, which is what allows you to have encrypted message exchanges with Takamagahara back and forth without fear of them being without fear of being them intercepted or anything like that. And I think to access this period, it does have to interface with your nanobots signal. So you are able to unlock it, and you have received a reply from Takamagahara from the temple.
I open it.
Okay, it's just a voice file. There is no photo. There's no video attached to it or anything like that. It makes it easier to transmit. And you play it back, and all it says, you wouldn't actually recognize the voice. It's probably another Jinchoku, but you wouldn't be sure. But basically, what it says is steps have been taken to clear your involvement in the incident and the involvement of your crew.
I let out a sigh of relief. All right. Yeah, I think maybe because I never got a chance to do what I wanted to do with family dinner.
That's
Does family
true.
dinner happen after I get this message?
Yeah, we can say that it will. I mean, you are going to be touching down on Mars, but I think maybe we should pick up with this next time, because it sounds very dramatic, and I think that would be a very good jumping off point.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe before we end on the comms, just to the crew and not Neville, just let them know, like, I think everything's gonna be okay. That's it.
With the landing, Karis? I would hope so.
And with that, we'll cut it there. So it's a little bit after 5, which is our established end time. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Thank you all so much for tuning in. All told, we raised $202 for Communities United Against Police Brutality. Thank you so much for giving. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the next episode of Nephilim. Next Sunday will be the other game that happens on Sundays. It's a Call of Cthulhu pulp adventure game called Pulp Diction. It's a playthrough of the Two-Headed Serpent campaign path. So, yeah, thanks so much for giving. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I hope you had fun. And we will leave you with a little music before we sign off. So, everyone, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.